What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, and of course, hop in the Discord. The link for that's in the description box down below.
Yeah. Here we go, guys. It's getting closer and closer for the big game, wild card football playoffs. Dallas Cowboys at home against the Green Bay Packers. And we're going to break down our offense, how we're going to ram it down the field against these Packers on their defense. At least that's the hope. They got some weapons. They got some people out there we're going to have to watch out for. We're going to tell you some of these little quick matchups. And then we want to hear from you all about what your thoughts are on this. Anyways, we're going to get that and a lot more injuries, updates, a lot of things as we're getting closer and closer. Tomorrow is we're going to really dig deep into the matchups and the must-win situations for our Cowboys, as well as the pregame preview on Saturday and then game day, Sunday. Cannot wait. Of course, there's also a raffle here. Jesus, that was perfect. Freedom first. Not first today, but in the raffle, officially. Woo! With the GO Cowboys.
Shout out to you, Freedom First. Appreciate you for not being first today. Sorry about that, but thank you for hopping in the raffle. And yeah, we'll talk about that in just a moment here.
The $10 drop there puts them in the raffle. Raffle entries, you can keep jumping on that, keep growing on those. And if you add to that, you get more chances to win sewn and stitched jersey. Your many different choices. Anyways, we'll get to that soon here.
As we continue rolling here tonight, guys, like Mr. MCF was saying, there's some people we have to give the appreciation, the shout-outs to, as we, again, the closer we get to Sunday, I have to admit, I'm feeling more excited than nervous. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I'm feeling good about our team.
Yeah, and the direction we're going, it's right here for us. At home, I'm ready. Let's talk about it, baby. Open this thing up and talk first about the family. Here, our family here on MCF,
right.
My Cowboys Family.
Like our sponsor of the week, back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys. Thank you so much, Jason Renfro, representing there. Appreciate you, although JD from DC is currently now our membership gifting king.
That's right.
Jason did have to pass that crown off. Thank you so much, JD. Appreciate you. You look up above. Dwayne Broussard, the top dog himself, is representing with 51 points. On that stream, boss. I think Freedom's drop obviously dropped him down. 51, almost at the midway point. And the king of the Cash App, 3 weeks in a row. You know why he's here, baby. Snug X.
Yes, you know it. Much love to him. We also had a little pre-stream there situation when it comes to Captain DCW. Back in that star level membership. Much love to Mr. David West. Appreciate him. And Jason Renfro had $1 holler in the Cash App. Bloop. Dropped right there. Bloop, bloop. He adds a little bit more to that, as he's still in the running on that top board for this week.
That's right.
But who is the leader this week so far? Well, stop right there because we got a membership comment here.
Sharing his membership message there.
Yeah, for the month of January. What did Indian Boogie have to say? He's a silver level. So,
Navy
now he's navy blue. Yes, he used to be silver. Jumping all around the board, silver level, navy blue. There's that star and the over everything. But much love to Indian Boogie now in the navy blue. 15 months
representing. He said, MCF fan for life. Thank you so much, Indian Boogie. Appreciate you, of course, for always representing there on the MCF side of things. And by the way, I'm not sure if he blocked out Jason Renfro's $1.79 holler GO Cowboys.
I don't think so. I'm looking at the
all right, no,
board.
I'm not sure. That's why.
But it's going to come through, I guess, because he dropped $1 in the Cash App. And that was a GO Cowboys. You know how he does. And that was pre-stream. And, of course, now in-stream, $1.79 holler or GO Cowboys from Jason Renfro. You're going to take Dwayne Broussard to under the 50-point mark here right now. He's at that 50. He's going to be about 49, 48 points on that stream, boss, for Dwayne Broussard. But Jason Renfro, he's on that Cash App side. He's on that Super Chat side. There's the thanks button. There's the gifting memberships. You can jump in the membership itself. Like Captain DCW, you can gift memberships here once you're in the membership itself. Any of the 4 levels. And much love to Jason Renfro again for that little drop right there. $1.79 holler does take Dwayne to 48 points.
You.
Yes, with that $1 on top of the Cash App board, other ways to drop the love here. Jason Renfro, he's not the leader though on that side this week. The leader is Miss Marissa Sparkle. In the house, yes.
Woo.
Star level member right there, as well as Jason Renfro. Marissa, not only the Cash App leader for the crown, but also currently the overall leader on the board this week. And these drops, these little drops of loves, of helps, sponsorship, donation, whatever you want to call it, it actually not only helps the channel and on, and it shows the love here, but it gets you on the board, all that good stuff. Has its perks as well, especially this week.
That's
even
right.
more important. And we'll explain in a moment. It's at the bottom right of your screen. You should see those 4 jerseys about to be raffled off. So much love to Marissa Sparkle in the lead there. When it comes to the gifting memberships, currently it's Skeptical Fan 6-3 currently. The two people on the board, Skeptical and Jason Renfro, fighting it out. Like you said, Jason's got the crown over there right now. I think you said, yeah. JD from DC has the crown over there in the gifting board. Skeptical and Jason fighting it out for the top spot. Skeptical in the lead. And Marissa overall board and the star and the Cash App, she's got the lead there. But Calvin Richards coming for that spot because he's moving up this board with another $10 holler.
Ooh, thank you, Calvin. You know what Calvin had to say.
Well, I know he definitely gets another raffle entry. We're going to discuss that in a minute. But what did Calvin have to say? Calvin Richard in the house.
With all the players we have to sign, it could be now or never.
Yep. And with losing coaches as well, right?
Yeah, I mean,
coaches and coaching staffs, like the whole. We talked about it yesterday. Quinn could take guys like Joe Witt Jr. and Al Harris with him, and amongst other coaches.
I was gonna say, and that's not even to talk about the players that might follow him as well. That might be free agents, right?
Micah with a little joke today. We'll talk about it.
Exactly. So, but it does bring up a valid point, though. Anyone who is free and clear to walk could obviously walk their way on to wherever Dan Quinn might happen to find himself. Post-Cowboy success, and honestly, that is one of the problems suffering from success, so to speak, right? You do really well.
It's a
good thing. People want those pieces.
It's a good thing to have. The only bad thing is everyone's going to come and take it.
You know what? And you got to win it now. That sounds like a good post-Super Bowl problem to have. I have no problem worrying about that after we get a ring on our finger.
We're down to 14 in the NFL. We got to be down to that one. Once we get that one, then they can take them all. For all I give a shit, we got that Super Bowl. As far as, dynasties, I don't know how often you're going to have those anymore. But Super Bowl ring, these days counts a lot.
Success.
Hell
exactly.
yeah, hell yeah. By the way, baby, Calvin Richard with that drop, I got to say it. He jumps into second place on the overall board. And he's right behind Marissa Sparkle, first place on that overall board. So Calvin Richard making moves, adding raffle entries. Now, we talked about the 4 different thanks button, the membership gifting, jumping in the membership, super chats like that. But there's 4 other ways of dropping the love here at MCF.
I think I mentioned it, but just in case, the Cash App money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family. You have your regular PayPal link, and of course the Streamlabs link. You saw Freedom First Flex in that one there, which lets your comment show up on screen just like a super chat.
I just realized that. I was still there. So appreciate all you guys. Yeah,
I have to admit, I wouldn't have caught it if I wasn't looking at the screen, I have to admit. So
much love. Appreciate everybody. Once again here at My Cowboys Family, dropping your knowledge, your love, your thoughts. And also, I want to add to the reasons why this is big. Guys, first and foremost, we have our perks for the membership, whether it's all the levels. We have 4 different levels, but the star level and the over everything level, they have their special extra perks, and that would mean star level memberships, guys, over everything. These membership levels, once a month, sewn and stitched, jersey, many. Of course, you could pick any team. You could pick any sport almost. Any player available. We have the most available, of course, for the Dallas Cowboys, and there's like 40 or so different styles, sizes, eras of players, new and old. But once a month we do that. Coming soon, about a week and a half or so. But I say that only because of what's coming now. This weekend, got to get into this right now. Membership does help you, but I'll explain that in a minute.
Yeah, thank you very much to DeLunatic for helping to make this 4 jersey raffle happen, guys. We're gonna have 4 individual winners, and how do you enter? Well, you guys kind of saw it live and in action. You drop $10, bam, you're automatically entered, and it is cumulative. So if you add up to $10, that is an entry. If you're an MCF member, you get an additional bonus entry once you're in the raffle. And of course, like we said, the entries are unlimited, so you can keep on stacking them as long as you
Calvin
keep on.
Richard has one of the more, I think, because we started last week. There's not many people that have a lot of raffle entries. A couple, but there's like 24 people in this thing right now. These for me 4 winners, and some people have just a lot better chances than others. But I've seen people win it with 1 raffle entry.
Yeah.
So you never know. Like right now, Freedom First only has 1.
It's actually been a pretty decent mix of
Actually, I think Freedom First is the membership.
Victories, so to speak.
So that actually puts him into, he's got the 10 on it,
bonus?
and he gets the bonus raffle entry. So Freedom First, showing up there. And you're seeing Calvin Richard adding to his already, multiple raffle entries from the last 2 weeks worth. We're counting it. So, again, much love, Calvin Richard. And he's also second place on the overall board. 10 per, unlimited entries, membership bonus entry in any of the levels you're in. And it just ups your chances to win one of these 4 fantastic jerseys. Sewn and stitched, authentic, like the whole thing. You guys have received a whole bunch of them. A lot of the families in there.
Yes, I
you
think
guys know how good
Andy
that.
Potts in the house.
Yes.
Shout out to you. He said he got his today,
There
which
you go.
is great.
Great quality, great stuff.
Yeah, we shipped them out express shipping so they would get to you guys before
Before
the playoffs.
this game, we want you guys repping this for hopefully what's going to be a big win for us as we move on to this divisional round against who knows who cares. Let's just win this game and beat the Cheeseheads. Now, let's get back. We did that part of things, baby. Let's get to who's in the house rocking it with us today.
Shout out.
Oh, that's right. I never did shout out
the star members.
The star level members, of course, the nightly members. But
the
first,
Traveling Fools flexing that membership message with 3 months, saying smash that thumbs up, yo. Again,
thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Traveling Fools. Appreciate you, of course.
It's a Traveling Fools, great channel over there, and appreciate his. He actually jumped into the membership his own self, repping that navy blue crew. Appreciate him. He's a Dolphin fan. There's a little blue in that Dolphins, I guess. A little teal, I guess. But again, man, thanks. Alice, also part of that crew. Choice Roberts here with us. Everybody, thank you all. Hit that like, hit subscribe, hit that bell. And let's also give thanks to those in the star and over everything level memberships. These people that are going to be in that raffle currently, if they stay in it, but when it goes down, probably sometime next week. But baby, who are the star and over everything level members?
Thank you very much. The Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Lincoln Kane, Mary Alvarez, Andy Potch, Marissa Sparkle, Dwayne Broussard, The Lunatic, and over everything, C. Bass.
Much love. Appreciate you guys. Now, who is in the house with us tonight to talk some Cowboy football, some Cowboy playoff football? All the stakes are heightened. I'm ready. I'm excited. I wish the game was right now. Who's in the house?
I have to agree. Like I said, the more time that passes, the more excited I get. But thank you, too. Skeptical Fan, always staying skeptical. And yes, guys, drop them if you got them. Some great Green Bay emojis, right? Rolando Rodriguez, what's up? You got Choice Roberts in the house. 28 Alice, hello and hi. Of course, Traveling Fools representing. Fuego, bringing the heat. Appreciate you. Eric Wallace, what's up? Thomas Garrett, the superior. Garrett, Mike Aldana, who said it? The price of success. Agree. Andy Potch, much love to you. Calvin Richards, appreciate you rolling through.
Yeah.
We have West Virginia Country Boy, hello and hi. Aztec Aguilar, 04. Exactly. Just get the job done on Sunday. No more PTSD.
No excuses, yeah.
NDM Boogie, what's up? Scorpio, exactly. No BS about being nervous. Like I said, the nerves passed pretty quickly for me. The excitement is building and building now.
Yeah, this has been 3 years ago. Okay, you got a little nervous. Hey,
yeah, Daniel Berry Sports. Texas Twister, what's up? Although I kind of like the comment that CD made, and we'll get to that when we get to that. But that also kind of helped frame my perspective a little bit too. Like,
I'm gonna hear everything new here from my side. There's some new things you haven't heard from. We've had a busy day, work life and family life, but we're gonna come together
so
here.
If I sound surprised tonight, that's why.
Same here though. By me, I haven't heard any of the quotes.
I know. Well, Mike Aldana, what's up? Bobby Garrett, much love. Bruce got the toxic juice. Yeah, exactly. Is anyone else having some mac and cheese with some melted cheddar? Right, extra cheddar.
Green Bay.
Sorry, I had to joke around with that too. Jason Renfro, what's up? Much love to you. Come back down. Cowboy Nation Danny, what's up? Speaking of, gotta shout out Randy Stites rolling through with a $2 holler. Thank you so much, Randy. Appreciate you. You know what he said?
Hit me.
Bring on the cheeseheads.
Randy, I think he had 7 last week. He's 1 away from a raffle entry for old Randy Stites.
Ooh, there we go.
Just letting Randy know. He's 11 away from 2.
By stacking up. So thank you, Randy. Appreciate you always. Go Cowboys. And yes, I have a feeling that we're all going to reach our dairy tolerance for the week, after eating all the cheese on Sunday.
It's stinky cheese, baby. I mean, you can see it. I covered myself up for that cheese.
That was a little, I don't want to eat stinky cheese.
That's their G. That's their green cheese heads they're coming with. They're stinking. They come in that stadium, you're going to smell something real nasty, funky.
Vile.
Yeah, you know it's a cheese head. So, baby, anybody else in the house?
Let me see. As we roll through. So, and by the way, I do want to clarify. I'm going to address it a little early just because I see a few people already worried about it. Guys, the Micah Parsons comments are not, like, he's joking. That was a joke. Okay?
Not the
Deep
best.
breaths.
Not the best joke to make. Let's be honest.
You know what? No,
All right, we'll give our thoughts.
I thought it was kind of funny.
We'll give our thoughts. We'll give our thoughts when we get to it. All right.
Context matters, though. So
there
maybe I think we're all feeling a little sensitive about losing some of our better coaches here. I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
So
with that drop from Randy Stites, he said, "Bring on the cheeseheads." There they are. Let's smash them up. Dwayne Broussard is taken down to 35 points. Randy Stites in the house. Again, like I said, from the 2 weeks combined, he's one away from entering the raffle.
That's
I don't know if he's in the membership. I don't think he is. But he's get a raffle entry, and one can win it here. One of these fantastic Sona-stitched jerseys.
Woo.
So, yeah.
Appreciate you, Randy, of course.
Yes. Let's get rolling, baby. Are you ready for some football? I don't know if anybody else has anything else to say. Hit me up with it.
I think we have a Micah Parsons drop here from Randy Stites.
Oh.
Representing it, I had to say it, Micah Parsons style, who said, "Put me in, MCF."
How about twice?
Hey, you're good.
Because
we could use a linebacker, we could use corner. So you ready, Randy?
Hey, Randy, with that $11 holler about to come through, I don't see it on my side, but that's going to take Dwayne down to 24 points, Israel Mukuamu style. But more importantly, with the Micah Parsons $11 holler, guess what? He enters with the one of that 11 into the raffle. No membership, so he's still at 1. But then, boom, another 10 on it, stacks it up. He's got 2 raffle entries, and hey, you never know. Randy Stites provided us some great footage from the game 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, in that unfortunate Niner loss there at the end. But he had we were seeing the game before it was actually happening. It was from the stands. It was great stuff. Thank you, Randy, and thank you, Randy Stites, with that $11 holler there. He said, "Put me in. You're in 2 times."
We got you, Randy. Appreciate you, of course.
Much love to you and yours. And go Cowboys. As always, and never, ever stop repping that star over everything. We got 5. That's great. We want 6 and beyond. So, you ready to roll, baby?
Yeah.
Let's get it on. Des Bryant had to remind us today, unfortunately, of a very unfortunate situation. Baby, I remember you were there with me. I remember we watched this together at the bar. It was the catch. It happened today, 9 years ago. The whole world knows that he caught it, he said. He goes, quote,
caught round the world.
He said, quote, 9 years ago, the whole world know I caught it. He goes, I changed the game. I technically did there. So
he really did.
Yeah. So Des reminding us about that. But anyways, getting that out the way. There's a lot of coaching news, but in the non-coaching news side of things, the NFL today designated the teams that are now set to play in London and Munich for the international games. So I don't know if you heard about this, baby. Mm-hmm. Did you hear about this? The international games that they were set? Because
the only thing I saw is that we were not going to be playing in London.
Right. Well, exactly. So
that was the only thing I saw confirmed.
Well, here's the thing.
I hadn't seen everything else.
The home teams. These are going to be the home teams for these games, right? The Bears are getting London. In Tottenham Hotspur Stadium there. The Bears are getting, again, a game in London, which means if the Cowboys play at Chicago, that means that that's a possibility. The Cowboys will not play at Chicago this year. Minnesota Vikings are getting a home game. It's in London. That home game is getting moved to London. Of course, the UK, same stadium. And we don't play the Vikings this upcoming season. That's not one of our opponents. So that's out the question. We got Jacksonville. They also are getting one of their home games moved out there to London. That's going to Wembley Stadium. And that is good for Jacksonville is going to mean that we have to look at the schedule. Of course, our opponent is not Jacksonville next year. So that's three for three right there. We don't have to worry about going to any international games. Then there are one more team, and that's the Carolina Panthers, who this year we played in Carolina. Mm-hmm. And they are chosen to go international to Munich, Germany. So that'd be interesting if the Cowboys go there.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. No?
Alliance Arena, home of the football club Bayern Munich. But the point here is, Cowboys do play the Carolina Panthers this season, and it is at Carolina. So
that could possibly be.
That's a thing. There's another game too in Sao Paulo in Brazil, in Area Corinthians. Home team, though, is still to be announced. So no home team has been announced for that. The Cowboys, though, will not play in London no matter what. Because, yes, those 3 games in London, Cowboys are not on the schedule there. None of them will be a home team against the Cowboys. Let's put it that way. But the Panthers do have a home game in Munich, and that could possibly be a... We would be a road game to the Panthers again this year, 2 years in a row.
And let's be real, that does sound like a very tempting thought to the NFL. I'm surprised we've gotten this lucky so far with our international games. It's been quite a few years since we played one.
True. But I'll say this. I'm going to say this. The Cowboys bring in so much money for the home team and the revenue from Cowboy fans coming in there. The Panthers probably love to get that Cowboy fan money, for one of their home games. So I don't know if they're going to love to be picking the Cowboys
no
to
one
get
wants
the
to
international
sacrifice having a Cowboy game on their own home turf when they can get that sweet, sweet Cowboy fan money, basically.
Yeah, exactly. But,
is that it?
But that's the thing, too. Like, Jacksonville, the Jaguars, they were not that good, and they chose to take their home game, move it to or not chose to, but they were okay with getting the Cowboys on the road the Cowboys instead of their home, but in London, and we played our game there. I guess whatever makes more money for them, if they feel like it's worth to move it there for a headlining game against the Cowboys rather than a game that's irrelevant at their home stadium, that could be another option.
You have
for
to
them,
imagine
right?
someone somewhere is crunching those numbers. We leave that to the football departments and the NFL to figure out.
Yeah. Any thoughts in the chat about that? I don't think we're going to get chosen, but I guess that's the only possibility. We go to Munich.
And Fernando Gonzalez, all good. Just appreciate you kind of rolling through here for a second. By the way, Jason Rivera wants to know how close he is to another raffle entry, so I don't know if you get the chance to check that.
I think, I know it offhand because I've been updating the board on the backside of things here, after streams, updating the boards, and I'm pretty sure he's about 8 away from another one. He just, yesterday, I think he just hit another raffle entry with a little dollar holler, so I think he's at the beginning of it now, so I think he's 8 away or so.
Well, there you go.
So,
let me see, exactly, Fuego. But again, I promise you guys that Micah was joking when he made those comments. I promise.
Yeah, you got to read with the context on that, right? Anyways, we also had some coaching changes, like I was saying, coaching moves. We know we had some already the last couple of days. We know Dan Quinn's in the forefront of a lot of these, like Seattle specifically, right? He's getting interviewed by 4 other teams. But Bill Belichick today officially has now moved on from New England. It's mutually parted ways.
Happening here. I have to admit, it's a little bit weird to think about the fact that Brady and Belichick are now
gone from the NFL in the South. Yeah, the Patriots and the
obviously
NFL,
Brady
right?
the NFL, but right now we don't know what Belichick's future holds.
True. Belichick and the Patriots parting ways. 24 years together, right? Unmatched historic run by this Patriot team. 24 years there. In 24 years, Belichick's Patriots 9 Super Bowl appearances. 9 appearances, 6 wins. They went 6-3. 266 wins, 120 losses in a regular season, and in the postseason, 30 wins and 12 losses. That's
again just crazy
insane
still.
Numbers. Belichick right now sits at 333 career wins, 333, including playoffs. In his head coaching career, 15 shy of passing Don Shula for the most wins by a head coach of all time, which is 347. And he'll get there because he'll probably be at another team soon. He wants to coach again. Just in the last 24 hours or so, 72-year-old Pete Carroll, was moved on from. Of course, Belichick was moved on from 71-year-old Belichick, and then Nick Saban, who also 72 years old, went away, retired, I guess.
Feels like the end of a football era.
Yeah, a lot of older coaches are getting out or getting moved out or whether Pete Carroll's going to be in the advisory committee side of things with Seattle. We don't know what's going to happen to Belichick. He wants to coach again, but older coaches moving on here, so it's time for the new school guys to kind of push through. Now, it's funny. I saw a video of Belichick coaching when he was with the Browns. I think it was a Cowboy game. He was in Dallas, and he was celebrating with his assistant coach, Nick Saban. It was interesting to see that.
That's funny.
Now they're both unemployed, technically, right? Or retired, I guess, one of them. Jared Mayo, former Patriot player, but also, in-house coach. He's a top candidate right now, viewed as, for years as a possible successor for Belichick. Another guy, of course, has been making the rounds there as far as a name for the Patriots. Hasn't been Dan Quinn. It's Mike Vrabel. So he's also available. Belichick, I'm hearing the Falcons are the first name that came up. They're willing to do anything to get Belichick, they said.
I mean, no surprise there, right?
The question is, will Belichick want to go there and build a whole new team from the ground? I don't think so. Listen to this, baby. 32 teams in the league. So far, 8 coaches have been let go. That's 25% of the head coaches in the NFL have been already fired or let go or parted ways mutually. You know what I mean? That's a lot. 25% of the coaches gone.
We're starting off strong here for sure.
And, and it trickles on down to the ground. Guess who is one of the higher guys now as far as tenures is Mike McCarthy. But unbelievably, Mike McCarthy, guys, is now the 10th longest tenured coach in the NFL. At a 32.
Crazy, but honestly, not again. When
High
you consider
turnover.
how quickly things move in the NFL, where 5 years is considered kind of a longer tenure, yeah, not surprising. You know, teams don't tend to stick with losing coaches for very long. You either prove it quick or you get going.
Yeah,
you get gone.
You know, it's so funny. It's kind of hard to say that after 3 12-5 seasons and playoff appearances.
Well, McCarthy might be getting gone himself, right?
And if he is gone, the name that's coming up really heavy is Bill Belichick, and I'm not.
We kind of.
I know we talked about it a little bit.
When we first heard the rumors
Jerry
about
loves
Belichick
it.
being free.
Jerry would love nothing more in a way, but the breaking news from multiple sources is that there's a quote unquote mystery team that will go after Bill Belichick, but they have to fire their head coach, and it hasn't been done yet, of course.
Ooh.
Yet. So that's per Adam Schefter, by the way.
Yeah, no offense, but how many teams
are there?
Yeah, like any team that's not in the playoffs is already making those moves. Any teams in the playoffs are obviously not going to start firing their head coach. So that really doesn't narrow down, or that really narrows down the possibilities and pretty much points a giant glaring spotlight that obviously they're talking about us or implying us.
It could be us.
I'll give you that. They're implying us for sure.
I mean, for sure, the Cowboys seem to be a name. I mean, that's what I'm not gonna get into it because people. There was like a whole lot of like discussion of that. I'd say this afternoon. I'm not gonna get into that because it's silly speculation. We don't talk about the game. I don't want to waste my time on that. But we have to mention it, obviously, right?
I agree, but you know what? You know when it's even better to discuss that? In the postseason, after we win the Super Bowl.
Exactly. After when we know it's not gonna be McCarthy replaced, if that's the case. So, anyways, guys. Playoff games here, and I'm going to throw up the playoff picture, I guess here, the schedule for this weekend of games, not just our games. So we're talking NFL news here, right? So when you look at the playoffs this season, this wild card round, look over there on the AFC, the Dolphins, the 6-seeded Dolphins against the 3rd-seeded Chiefs. Baby, listen, I know how much you love the cold weather, but the wind chill. The wind chill. We know it's going to be like 0 degrees.
Yeah.
And like negative, like that's going to be like kickoff. And like the low could get as low as like -6. But the wind chill in Kansas City Saturday night is going to be, quote, dangerously cold per the National Weather Service. The expectation from the Weather Service is that with the wind chill, it's going to be -30 degrees.
So what do you do when you have an outdoor stadium?
Well, there was a playoff game with the Chargers and the Bengals. It was in Cincinnati, and it was like, guys, you got to help me. Was it like 46 degrees below? Like, so this would be one of the coldest games ever in the history of football. So, we know about the Ice Bowl, in Green Bay, the Cowboys, to go to that first Super Bowl, basically.
Yeah, it's going to be the Penguin Bowl at this point. Because, who the fuck is going to be either watching this game or playing in this game?
I'm going to be watching it. That's
like
going to be...
I know, but that sounds like a fucking lawsuit waiting to happen.
Again, this game also is on Peacock, so you got to have Peacock. And it's going to be freaking cold. It's going to be interesting to watch. Dolphins Chiefs going to be wild that game. We'll see what happens. Now, I do want to go to one other game here before we move on to the Cowboys, and that is the hated Eagles against the Buccaneers. But it ain't even about.
Yeah, I know we got to discuss some of it.
There's a reason why, because something came up on this, and it's interesting to note because there is, when it comes to the Eagles, they're playing the Bucs. It's not even, honestly, it's not even about the Buccaneer themselves, like the game itself. It's more about the shitty ass Eagles. Basic math is 5 is greater than 1. But, baby, I never got to show it to you. God damn, I wanted to show it to you. You never got to see it. But it was a great video between Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce from the Eagles.
Yeah. And
they were talking to each other in their weekly podcast or whatever it may be, or they have it like every other night or something like this. But Travis was like making it, because they were saying, he was asking what's going on, with that last drive. And Jason Kelce was saying there was some miscommunication. I think he was saying it was the offensive line miscommunication. Yeah. He was kind of putting it on himself. And Travis Kelce was started doing like choo choo. And then, Jason Kelce was like, what is that supposed to mean? And he's like, that's the excuse train. He was like fucking around, like taunting him a little bit. And guys, I'm telling you this, you got to watch the clip. I can't play it here because they'll ding us. But Travis Kelce made Jason Kelce fucking rage quit. And he just said, he kind of just looked away. Really, you can see he was upset. He took a drink from. He goes, "I'm gonna need a minute here." He just took a little drink, ate a little like cracker or something, and then he took off the headphone and just walked away. And then that was the end of the show.
Nobody pisses you off more than your siblings. They know where those buttons are, so he knows exactly what he said there. I'm sorry, that's
but they didn't expect that.
I love that. That's kind of funny as shit, and I love it even more because it's happening to the Eagles. I'm sorry.
And then he came because the question was like, the thing was like saying something like, because Jason Kelce was going to blame his own teammates. Oh. Maybe the coaching. Something was, he held back. So he came back the next day, they continued the podcast. He goes, "I'm sorry, we had to end it." He kind of set me off a little bit. He got in my feels, I think he said. But the basic, and then they continued their show, but it was just a very awkward situation between.
Right.
And the frustration level for Jason Kelce with the Eagles is through the roof right now. Again, remember, he comes back to football, wasn't even really sure he was going to come back, came back at 36 years old on a very team-friendly contract to make a run again for the Super Bowl, and now, they're playing terrible going into the playoffs, and he's getting trolled by his younger brother. Yeah, I'm just saying, it was hysterical, so I advise everybody to keep an eye on that, so cry, Eagles, cry. And, I do want to say this about Jalen Hurts. He's a tough guy, but he says he hasn't thrown a football since suffering that finger injury, a dislocation on Sunday. Boy. There's no fracture, but it's a finger injury. It's a dislocation. He acknowledges that going back into the game was a bad idea physically for his finger, for his hand, and that the pain hurt more on Monday than it did on game day. He said, quote, "Everything is a challenge when you have a finger out of place." But he did assure everybody in today's press conference that everything is going in the right direction, the right way. Now, he did practice today. For the Eagles in this upcoming game, and he wore a glove on his right hand. No sign of A.J. Brown, though. And A.J. Brown, of course, did not practice. We know the reason is because of a knee injury, but there seems to be always something behind the scenes with him going on. I did want to say, since we are now talking about the Buccaneer game, I guess, in this sense, it's Eagles at Bucs, and it's on Monday night. But the forecast, we talk about weather with Kansas City. There's also an interesting situation, baby, when it comes to this game. The Eagles will be playing at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a matchup that shows a 96% chance of rain in Tampa. Heavy rain and thunderstorms expected. And I'll explain what that means in a minute. I know that to some people, like Darius Slay, had made some comments. We'll talk about that comment in a minute. But first, we got to talk about Raul's comment.
Woo! Shout out to you,
He's
Raul.
given his monthly membership comment. What did he make? What did the man say, Mr. Raul?
By the way, repping it 5 months in a row, he said, "Hi, MCF. Cowboys will be in control the whole game, and Jordan Love will be under pressure all day. Cowboys 30-13.
Yeah, I like that prediction. And by the way, any kind of pressure on Jordan Love or sacks on Jordan Love means a very positive outcome for the other team. So that's a very good point there, Raul. We're going to break this down here a little bit. We did it last night with our defense versus their offense. Got a couple tidbits, got some breakdowns and matchups for tomorrow you're going to want to hear. But tonight we're going to try to focus on our offense and how we can get down the field on this defense. But yeah.
And by the way, SD420, that's awesome. He said he was able to go to that divisional playoff game in Foxborough, that Patriots versus Titans game. 4 degrees at kickoff, -10 wind chill, the coldest game ever played in Foxborough. So that's an interesting, nice little piece of history. I have to admit, if I was part of that history, I wouldn't be here speaking with you guys. I would be just a little frozen block somewhere in the Northeast.
Yeah, you're not a big fan of the cold. I like it, though. I like those cold games. Anyways, I'm not a big fan of the rainy games, and that's what the Eagles are going to have to face. As first, we see a membership comment by the Man Skeptical Fan, dropping it for the month. What do you have to say, baby? That man always staying skeptical.
37 months? Holy cannoli. He said, does Las Vegas have the Eagles over or under?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. It's like an even game right there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think, again, pre-knowing everything, I think the Eagles still had a little bit of the over, which I guess means a lot more, but I don't know what that means right now.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that's changed or adjusted since then, especially with these current injury reports and things like that.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. But the reason I'm bringing up the anything about the Eagle game, the reason I'm doing that is because listen to this, with the weather situation and the 96% chance rain, heavy rain and thunderstorms expected. When you look at, and I'm just generalizing here, when you look at Jalen Hurts and how he does when it comes to rain or no rain, guys, completion rate goes down 9%. All right, His passing attempts goes down 16%. Yards per attempt go down 24% in the rain. His passer rating goes down 13%. His touchdown percentage goes down 24%. Interceptions possibilities goes up 33%. His deep throw percentage goes down 32%. His turnover-worthy passes go up.
What percentage?
What? Turnover-worthy.
The one before that?
Deep throw.
Okay.
Yeah. Deep throw percentage.
Sorry, just you said it so quickly, it caught me off guard for a second. I'm like, what kind of football stat is that?
His deep throwing percentage went down 32%, and his turnover-worthy plays went up 35%. I'm just trying to say, drop percentage went up 5%. Pressure percentage, he got pressured more because in the rain. I'm just saying everything is going bad for Jalen Hurts when there's rain. So with the finger, with the rain, with the A.J. Brown injury, they're in trouble. I don't know if they're really going to be favored to win this game. I would be concerned if I was an Eagle fan. Now, again, I think
I did look it up, by the way. Technically, the Bucs are favored by 3, which does kind of make it relatively even, all things considered.
When you look at the home team, it's really Bucs by like 1 or half point. But the point is,
exactly. So
it's a very close match game, and I think the Bucs should be favored because when you look at A.J. Brown out, looking like he's going to be out, and then Hurts with his issue, the whole implosion of the locker room, Jason Kelce having a rage quit situation with his brother. I mean, it's not good in Philly. That's for damn sure. A win, I don't even know if a win would fix it, especially against the Bucs. So the Bucs might.
So Skeptical fans said they have them as underdogs. I don't know. The first thing I looked at said they had them up by 3.
Well, either way,
I could be
it's a close
wrong.
matchup. Look, the point I'm trying to say is, he's going to have some trouble there, in the rain. I think. Although I will say this, I think they're going to run a lot more, and they're going to just run Jalen Hurts to death. There, him and Swift. And that's probably the best chance to win against the Bucs. If the Bucs stop the run, the Eagles could be in trouble.
Can't blame them, I guess.
I know Darius Slay, though. I think you had a comment about what Darius Slay had said, or we had tried to remember what he had said earlier about.
Oh yeah. So basically, sorry, I forgot about that. My bad. So, so it's one thing to hear players say talk about matchups or things like that, but Darius Slay. Straight up, oh my goodness.
He's saying that, he'd rather play on the road than at home and hear booing from the fans.
Exactly. So, absolutely ridiculous to think that.
They lost 5 out of the last 6
Imagine
games.
if a Dallas Cowboy player literally said, "Oh, I'm excited we're playing on the road because I don't want to hear our fans booing us."
Yeah. Damn.
That's a whole new level of not. I mean, what do you even say to that as a Philly fan? You know what I mean? Because doesn't that make you want to boo them more, though?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That seems to me like I don't want these
this
guys
team is
representing my
apart
team.
Just at the seams. This is ridiculous. And at least, look, say what you want about Cowboy fans, but we're not going to do that type of trashy shit either. Just saying. Any
other thoughts in there before we move it on?
And yes, I agree, by the way, with several comments. I know Brandon James mentioned it too, and I see Raul saying it. Yeah, Sirianni's definitely on the hot seat. If he wasn't
Big
before,
time.
he definitely
Big
is now.
time.
And let's be real, he's lost the team. Doesn't matter how you slice it. He could be the best coach in the world. He's lost the team. How do you continue to coach a team that absolutely won't respect you? And Sirianni's kind of shown himself to not be a respectable coach, so to speak.
Oh, he disrespects every team he plays and talks shit about them.
So I'm just saying, I guess you can maybe get away with that shit when you're winning. But now that you're losing, it just makes you look even stupider.
Yeah, it makes you look worse.
And like I said, I'm going to say it again one last time for the people in the back, he's lost the team. Yeah. You can't come back from that. So, unless you blow up the whole team, which last time I checked, the Eagles are not really in a position to do.
Not money-wise.
So, let me go ahead and kind of hit up, right, as like I said, basically the 2020 Steelers. It's so funny, because that's exactly who they remind me of. They're obviously in the playoffs. You can't deny that they're a playoff team. They started off so hot. But man, this is a very
what an implosion.
Crappy team, all things considered. So we'll have to see which one's the shiniest turd, I guess.
Well, Buccaneers and Eagles, both not very good
Jalen
teams.
said it. No reason we shouldn't be in the NFC Championship against the 49ers.
That's my opinion.
Self-inflicted wounds is the only way we don't make it.
Yeah. So, look, as we roll on here, McCarthy spoke today. All right? And Mike McCarthy was first asked about the Nick Saban, Bill Belichick, all these legendary coaches kind of moving on one way or the other. And McCarthy said this: championships consistency, longevity. Personally, I think sustained success is the biggest challenge in this league, and those coaches have done it better than anyone. So again, big respect there from him to them. Mike McCarthy also spoke about this game. He said, the advantages, heading into this game on Sunday, whether it's, there's more pressure or more of an opportunity against a team like the Packers. He said, quote, "It's opportunity. It's a football game, and a very important football game. We've done the necessary things to be in this position. We've earned it, deserved it, and we're going to take advantage of the opportunity." So they're kind of seeing what they're at. I think they're saying they're kind of fortunate they got that second seed, but they're going to take.
Look, I've said it. You don't get to the Super Bowl without a little bit of football luck. Not a single team has ever gotten there without a little bit of football luck.
And they put it there. Listen, the Eagles, they left it there for someone to take, and we took it. You just, we've given games away. We've given teams chances, and they taken it, and they won. They earned it. We earned it.
The phrase, we just picked up what they were putting down.
Yes, I mean, but some teams just, sometimes you can't even do that sometimes, right? But we were able to. So I understand what McCarthy's saying. Also, he spoke about Dak's improvement since McCarthy's arrived 2020, from that Dak Prescott to the Dak Prescott now, and McCarthy said this about Dak, quote, "He's always had a good command as a quarterback playing the position, but his command of the offense is higher than it's ever been." And he added, quote, "Dak's been given more tools to be successful." And I think that's not just the players. I think it also means some of the things that McCarthy has coached Dak Prescott to do, whether it is using his legs, extending plays, something he hasn't done really in his career that I've been screaming since day one on this channel.
Not even that, but hasn't one of the things that I know I've always said this about Dak, like he's not the type of guy who's just going to take control of this offense on his own. This goes all the way back to, remember when we talked about this with Amari Cooper basically yelling at Dak saying like, change the freaking play. And then Dak finally changed it.
And it worked.
But it sounds like McCarthy gave Dak the necessary tools to be able to confidently take over the offense in a way that a quarterback kind of sometimes has
He
to.
wasn't ever that never was done with.
Sorry, the lunatic's comment in the chat.
But that was never done though with Garrett's crew of Lenahan. It wasn't done with Kellen Moore. But now that he's gone and McCarthy, a true quarterback whisperer type coach, I've been saying that from the beginning here, he just wasn't really allowed to be really, I would say, even involved as much because it was Kellen Moore's offense. Well, now his offense, and he gives the tools to the quarterback, teaches him the tools needed to become somebody who can run the offense the way it should be run, not run the offense through the coordinator.
Agree.
So I think McCarthy's done a great job in that, and we give him a lot of credit for that. What was the lunatic's comment? Which, by the way, the lunatic, big shout outs to him in the house. You know what's going down with that, right, baby?
Oh, yeah.
That raffle, it's going down. $10 you're in. Every 10 on top of that, you get another raffle entry, unlimited entries, and membership bonus entry. If you're in a membership, you get a bonus entry. Again, you guys know the deal. Those Sona Stitch jerseys, 4 winners, each will get one of these. Many choices, many styles. Go Cowboys. And it'll be at halftime of the wild card game against the Packers. Stay tuned right here at MCF. Much love to the lunatic, and good luck to everybody in it, all 24, 25, 26 people. Much love, and appreciate you all. Go Cowboys.
But the lunatic said, you call it football luck, I call it blatant missed or penalties called by officials.
Yeah,
so
there's problems on that both sides, though.
I know. No, he's just, that's kind of his point. Like, the luck has basically been
that.
Yeah.
So again, McCarthy, speaking about a lot of these things, interesting to hear, also finished up about some injury information, right? Which kind of the next step of this stream here is injury stuff going on with some of our players, specifically offensive lineman Tyler Smith. According to McCarthy, things are trending in a positive direction for Tyler Smith with the foot injury.
Thank goodness.
And the probability is he's going to play against the Packers. According to McCarthy, he expected to do more today in practice. He, quote, "Tyler is making progress. We feel good about where he is," end quote. So with that torn plantar fascia, it sounds like Tyler Smith is going to play Sunday.
Yeah, and I actually have a little bit more info on that from Tyler Smith himself.
Yes, I can't wait to hear that because I don't know anything about it, and I want to hear the fact that the tear all the way through is better than some partial tear. So anyways, that was his 2 cents on Tyler Smith. What about the other very important player on defense, cornerback Stephon Gilmore, and his shoulder injury? McCarthy said this about Gilmore, that first of all, Gilmore will be wearing a harness And his experience with players, McCarthy's experience with players, wearing harnesses and doing this again, this is McCarthy's thought process on Stephon Gilmore playing with the harness. Quote, every injury is different, and Stephon is taking the right approach. I've seen it done a number of times, but the biggest thing is getting comfortable with it. Meaning with the harness.
Yeah, like comfortable wearing it and playing with it.
Yes. He said, quote, he has a chance to do that today in our padded practice. So the big thing we want to see today in the practice is not seeing him not participate. Yesterday he was on some, the rehab area. We got to see him in the practice. And this is a padded practice. Remember, guys, once a week on Thursday. That's when they hit it, in the middle of the practice. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Thursday practice is the tough one. They want to try to get him into at least a limited sense here, upgrading him from the do not practice. When you look at the actual practice information, highlights, whatever you want to call it, information when it comes to what went down in practice, you got to look at, different, again, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin. They were outside working as they went through their normal, plan. Again, when I say their normal plan, I mean they have a Tyron Smith, I'm saying, gets a vet day here pretty much every day. Same thing as Zach Martin, who was ill and missed the game, but he's going to be good for this game. Both Tyron Smith and Zach Martin getting a veteran day, did not practice. They worked outside, went through their normal Thursday plan, but the team was not outside today, guys. McCarthy had the team indoors again.
Okay.
Second day indoors, practicing indoors, prepping for this playoff game against the Packers. And it's because of that wind, guys. It's very windy, so the Cowboys want to have if they're going to throw that ball and try to get some stuff down, they want to be able to be precise about it. They don't want to sit there and have to fight the wind.
They're not trying to fuck around.
Especially exactly right, especially when you're in the Cowboys AT&T Stadium and there's not going to be any wind.
Yeah, I feel like the time to prepare for wind might be in the future if we're in a situation
like San
where we
Francisco.
might have to be on the road and face some wind. Until then, let's focus on the stuff that we actually need to focus on.
McCarthy
which I agree.
loves to practice outside, but when there's wind factors affecting the actual practice, then it's time to get it right, especially when you're not facing wind for this game. So, Cowboys practicing inside for the second straight practice at Ford Center. Tyron Smith, Zach Martin were outside during their normal vet day, kind of did not practice, kind of walkthroughs and stuff. Stephon Gilmore, one of the main injured, probably the scariest injured guy right now that's out there, starter, tested his shoulder in practice today. He was on the
How'd that go?
Yes, he was on the jugs machine, and he was doing those drills, so catching the ball, hitting that arm, shoulder, So he was doing some of the jugs machine catches. Also did the usual footwork drill stuff. So expectation is that he's going to play against the Packers on Sunday. Okay. That's a huge
again,
thing.
Looking good, trending positively,
looking like a very positive sign. Going, in this week, getting back on the field and getting involved in a padded practice. You guys feel me here? So Gilmore back in practice, wearing the helmet, wearing the pads, wearing that harness, working on the jug machine and footwork position drills. So that's what you get from Gilmore today. That's a good sign for him. Tyler Smith, the other injured player that we have concern about, moving very well in the offensive line work in the second straight day. Yesterday limited. We'll talk about it today in a minute. The defensive line, linebackers, working a lot, very heavy today. We talked about it yesterday with Dan Quinn, working with the linebackers specifically, right? Today, a lot of defensive line and linebacker technique with position coaches specifically.
Okay.
So
a little bit more finesse today, basically.
Yeah, well, a little more fundamental, right? They got hand placement stuff for those linemen. All right? Something they're seeing in the film is going to project here to the Packers offensive line. We're going to talk about that offensive line here a little bit, I would say tomorrow, because they do have some holes there. The Cowboys are the better pass protection team. They're the better run blocking team overall. But hand placement and get off on defense, hand placement on offense, but you can say it on both sides of the line. You know what I'm saying? Defensive line, get off. Defensive line, hand placement. That's what the Cowboys kind of went through extra special today. For the linebackers, it was a lot about going through the reads and seeing what their assignments were. Reading the offense, so to speak. So obviously, whatever's on film, something we're going to figure out about Jordan Love. And their linebackers are checking and getting those reads down. So just breaking down, guys, a little insight of what the Cowboys are practicing for when it comes to this Green Bay Packer wild card playoff game. The Thursday practice report for this game, for the Cowboys, you got, of course, go back to the injured guys here. Stephon Gilmore. Okay, yesterday did not practice. Today, of course, we know he was on the field, but what would the Cowboys list him as? He was upgraded to limited today. So that is, of course, exactly what we want to hear. All right, way ahead of schedule according to most sources there, especially when you compare it to the fact that McCarthy yesterday said he'll only be practicing on Saturday. Remember? He said he's going to practice Saturday, and he's practicing today.
Yep.
So that is way ahead of schedule, right? Outside of Gilmore, there was no other changes to the Cowboys injury report.
Okay.
All right. Gilmore, again, practicing in a limited capacity, testing out the shoulder with the helmet and pads. Same everywhere else across the injury list board. And I'll go through it with you guys real quick. Okay, Stephon Gilmore upgraded to limited. Jonathan Hankins, who is a guy of very big importance for us, getting his kind of a half, you could say his vet day, but going off that ankle that he got injured last week, actually against the Philadelphia Eagles. They're just being careful with him. No injury, same ankle injury. They just haven't limited him right now, so he's ready full blast for the game for Hankins. Of course, talked about Tyler Smith. He's also listed as, like yesterday, Tyler Smith was limited. Today, also limited. Looking good. He's going to play, guys, as long as there's no regressions. So those are our 3 limited guys today. The 2 guys that didn't practice, and we know the deal with these guys. Tyron Smith, he's resting today, guys. And so is Zach Martin, also getting a rest day. So those are the 2 guys that did not practice. That is it. Everybody else is limited in the sense of injured guys like Stephon Gilmore, Tyler Smith. Both guys are limited. Hankins also limited. 2 guys full practice. Dorrance Armstrong from last week's ankle injury, 2 days of full practice. Malik Hooker from last week and his ankle injury, 2 days of full practice. You can't really have better news than this, knock on wood. We have one more good day of practice. Walk through on Saturday, and this team is fully healthy to get out on that field against the Packers on Sunday. That is the hope. That is the progression. That's my thought process in this. And I know that we have a little bit of defensive talk here from our Cowboys before we dive in to the game, the offense, I guess you can say. So after practice, we had, I think, the Hungry Lion and his buddy there, Mr. Hankins, we just spoke about his injury situation. They were kind of speaking about, our situation here going into this game. And that's where you're going to hear this. Again, we can hit the I guess, whatever order you have it in, maybe you go ahead and go for it.
So, like I said, we hear from Micah. And basically,
there's a lot of the chat was talking about this.
Exactly. So that's why I said let's go ahead and just dive right into it. So first of all, Micah did talk about what one of the keys to this game was going to be, right? And he's straight up. I love this. He said, quote, "It starts with us up front. We've got to be dominant up front, get a lot of bend back, get a lot of movement. I feel like we can do what we're capable of. We showed it already. We just got to continue to do it Sunday." So, pretty much exactly what we've been saying. If our front D-line can get the type of pressure and get in there to cause the type of chaos that we need them to, there should not be any team in front of us that should be able to stop us if they do what they're supposed to do. And most especially, obviously, the current ones up on the board. So, he also went in there saying that, all the regular season stuff is cute, but that legacies are made in the playoffs because it's be phenomenal or be forgotten. So then he was kind of asked, like, which one are you going to be, Micah Parsons? He said, hopefully phenomenal. Nah, you know what? I'll be phenomenal. Fucking phenomenal. And he said it just like that.
He's ready to just tear it up out there. All right, listen, he's going to I'm looking forward to see what Micah can do here. Playoff-wise, he's been a little bit, they've talked a little bit of shit about him in playoffs, not showing up as much, but
you know what? That's great because,
let's see this game.
Micah is not generally a shit talker, and honestly, he's not really shit talked much this season. So, even now, he's just kind of like, addressing things, right? But he likes to speak on the field. I appreciate that about Micah. He also did say that he's not really bothered about the whole not making the all-pro team, saying, quote, "If you look at some of the names on there, you could just tell people were writing down names. It's not something that really matters, at least to players." So he's kind of also calling out maybe a few of the names on the list even being there, which I can maybe understand considering some of the names on the list. But at the same time, I also think that Micah's trying to cover up the fact that maybe it did kind of bother him a little bit just because for the last 2 years straight, he's been saying the opposite. So, but it's okay, Micah. Forgive me. Anyway, as far as the importance of having Hankins back, I mean, guys, he is so critical, so important to everything that we're doing, and we'll get into even more detail, but he said, Big Hank don't move. He's such a crucial piece, and he really is. Again, our run game basically lives and dies, our run stop basically lives and dies off Hankins. I
mean, Hankins in the game, guys, we talked about it yesterday, the difference maker he is at when we get contact in the backfield, when Hankins is in and not in. We average, I think we have, in the games he's played in, we're averaging 58 yards allowed on the ground less. Almost 60 yards less a game when Hankins is in the interior of our defense.
You can't make that stuff up. Anyway. Now, this is where Micah makes what some of us might consider his controversial comment of the night. He calls Quinn his OG for real, added in there, quote, I think he does a great job of finding ways for you to love the game, find ways to go around the game. It doesn't always have to be hard-nosed, I'm the coach. And I think it's more of a friendship. He go through what I don't like, what I do like, so he don't just treat me like a player. He treats me almost like a friend. He's always there for me when I need him, and we're not afraid to have those hard conversations either as a father to son or player to coach. We have them no matter what, so Dan's my guy. And if you do leave me, it's always love, and he might take me with him. You never know.
Ooh.
Now, that last comment got a lot of people's panties in a twist, but guys, you got to have the context. Micah was laughing after he said that last line, like straight up, like
obvious joke.
Very
he ain't going anywhere.
Joking, laughing, smiling, cajoling, like trying to mess with the crowd a little bit. Like, guys, it was very clearly 100% a joke. And for those of you guys who think like, oh, is he being serious? No, he was not being serious. That's just trying to him express the depth of the love and the respect that he has for Dan Quinn. So again, hopefully we can do what we're supposed to do. And that's what Mike is basically trying to let everybody know. Quinn is probably out after this season, so we better go out there and win that fucking ring now, because you only get now. You don't get tomorrow.
I agree.
So, but yes, he was clearly joking. I'm going to say it one more time. Micah was joking about leaving the Cowboys with Quinn. Anyway.
Yeah, Skeptical fan said, Parsons will cry if Quinn leaves. I agree, but he ain't gonna go with him. At least not who knows? In the future, who knows what happens?
Look, the point is that the love and the respect is real. No one's trying to deny that losing Quinn isn't going to be the loss it's going to be. It's going to fucking hurt.
Let's say in 6 years, Micah is done with his contract. He's kind of on the downside of his career, and the Cowboys let him go. And Quinn's the coach of Seattle. You know what I'm saying? That's where I see them. Like if he's ever out there needing a spot, Quinn will bring him in and do something with him.
And that goes
in the future. But not now.
Agree 100,000%. So,
although the lunatic said it is the clown show, you never know.
That would be, oh man. That'd be the clowniest move. I'm not even going to touch on that just because, again, Micah was just joking around. You know who's not joking around, though? Jonathan Hankins. And Micah has some serious respect for him. Like I said earlier, he said, Hank, don't move. He's a crucial piece to this defense. It's real crucial to have Hank back, especially with how good their gap scheme and pullers are. To get him back in this lineup and get him ready for Sunday, again, they both went back and forth and actually spoke about Jones, right? Aaron Jones.
But I want to say one thing real quick. The fact that Micah said that about what Hankins does and make sure that gap assignment stuff is so important to a team like Green Bay who is doing plays the way they do on the offensive line. That Hankins is Mazia gets washed out and blocked out.
No one knows more than Micah, because guess who's right next to Hankins sometimes? Micah himself. Micah directly is impacted by Hankins' good play. So when you see Micah
cross the line of scrimmage there and make a tackle for a half-yard gain or a half-yard loss, watch where Hankins is. He's taking on two blockers and not moving backwards. That's what Micah's saying. And a lot of times when that happens, guys like Micah and DeMarcus Lawrence can go in there from the edges and attack and close it in. So that is such an important player in Jonathan Hankins. And like I said, 60 yards less a game rushing when Hankins is in the game compared when he's not in the game. Whew, come on. Hankins is an MVP of this team, and half the fan base don't even know it. Anyways.
Now remember, this is how our players are seeing this current matchup. And since we're talking about run stopping, right? Jonathan Hankins and Micah kind of went back and forth on the Green Bay run game, because Hankins said, quote, he's been toting that rock. in regards to Aaron Jones, of course. Yeah. He's fast. He can run through blocks. All in all, he's a great running back. They have a good combination of running backs, a great scheme. They've been doing everything they needed to do to get to where they're at. It's up to us to go out there and stop the run. Mike also threw in there, I think he's fast, good dude, really good dude, very fast, real elusive, can make any cut, hit the edge. He's an all-around back. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, they both were, like, kind of acknowledging, Green Bay's, pretty solid run situation, which we know is something, again, the fact that them two are specifically addressing it is my point here. Like, they know that they're the ones that are going to have to lead the charge, which is why we're hearing from them, at the same time. Shout out, by the way. Thank you so much, Big D.
The place to
Navy
be.
Blue member for 1 month with his membership message. Go Cowboys. Appreciate you, of course.
Yeah, go Cowboys. By the way, Dwayne Broussard, Stephon Gilmore points. 21 points on the Stream Boss. There for the taking. Much love, Big D. Appreciate D. And, of course, rep that. Star for everything. We know, with Micah Parsons, as you can see here, I mean, you see Jordan Love, but as he was saying, and as Hankins was saying, Aaron Jones is the guy that Dan Quinn and this defense is really focusing on.
Although
you stop him, you kind of slow. If you slow down Aaron Jones, you're going to be able to kind of eventually get to Love and the rest of their team.
Yeah, although they did say that they're a little bit, saddened about the fact that A.J. Dillon, who's the backup there, number 2, to Jones's number 1, that he might be out because of an injury, which, again, we'll talk about later. But Hankins said that's tough. I've been thinking about how I'm going to tackle this guy. He's a big, fast, strong joker. Him and Aaron, that's definitely one of the greatest duos we've faced this year.
Yeah, Dillon's one of those guys I really kind of wish the Cowboys would have grabbed when he was a free agent.
Yeah, and in case anyone's wondering as well how it is the Packers got to the playoffs, I think, like I said, it's significant that we're hearing from Micah, from Hankins, about the run game specifically, and that matchup there. Yeah, I mean, and Micah Parsons also, the final thing I have to say here from our defensive players, giving some credit to Jordan Love too, saying you can tell he's played under Rodgers. Some of his mechanics, some of his movements and reads and fearlessness, you can tell he learned a lot from Rodgers. And Hankins also threw in there that he's feeling good and that he'll be out there laughing, saying, because he was also laughing because he was asked if he's feeling 100%. He's like, no one's 100% at this point of the season.
Well, he was limited in practice, but we know that's just taking care of him, making sure he's in good shape. He was, you talk about the running backs. Aaron Jones, of course, on the injury list for the Packers with a knee and a finger issue. He was limited yesterday, limited today, but he's playing this game. A.J. Dillon is the one that's the bigger question mark, the number 2 there, who plays a lot there and helps him in a big way. He has a thumb and a neck injury.
Yeah, that's who they said they were a little disappointed that they might not be facing.
Well, again, he was looking like he was going to be able to be good to go today. I'll talk about it a little later, but he did not practice for 2 straight days. So that's something to keep an eye on when it comes to this upcoming battle. Anyways, we're not going to talk much about their offense. We're going to talk now about their defense.
Like I said, it was just our defense commenting on their offense, which is why I said, I'm like, they're obviously... it's obviously on their mind.
We're seeing who we're going after. We're keying on mainly Aaron Jones, and that's a good thing in my mind. And that's Dan Quinn kind of getting that mindset together. We know they're going to try to run on us. So this game against the Packers, all right? Packers right now, listen to this stat, baby. They're 5-0. They haven't lost. They're 5-0 all time at AT&T Stadium, ever.
I know.
They had a postseason win against the Cowboys back in 2016 in Dak's rookie year. And they won again a year, I think later, or 2 years later, they won again a last-second win by Aaron Rodgers. We need to end this streak here and,
Agree.
And make the Packers pay the price in this game. Another crazy stat. Listen to this. The last 4 times Green Bay has come to AT&T Stadium, they have scored exactly 34 points.
Okay, that's a little weird.
The last 4 times Green Bay scored 34 points in each of the last 4 games against us. So simple math, Cowboys got to score 35 or more. And we guarantee a win here. Cowboys, again, this playoff game between the Cowboys and the Packers is a matchup between 2 of the youngest NFL rosters. Yes, ours as well. We got a young team overall. One of the younger, because they have the youngest in the playoffs. The Packers, 25.13 years is their average age.
For some reason, I thought our team skewed older.
They have the youngest roster. The Cowboys, 26.36 is second. Remember, we have a lot of undrafted guys out there. The Cowboys do have a lot more playoff experience, a big edge on playoff experience going into this game, obviously, with the core of our team.
Yeah, so even though we have a lot of young guys, a lot of these young guys actually surprisingly have a lot of experience, and all of our older guys have that experience.
That's big. That's huge. That's Big D with that $10 holler out the blue right there. Much love to Big D. You know what he does with that $10 holler, baby?
Adds another raffle entry.
Yeah. Mr. Big D, who has a membership in here. Big D with another 10 on it. It just adds another one of those de lunatic raffle entries.
That's right.
Ups his chance to win one of these 4 sewn and stitched jerseys. A lot of choices, a lot of styles, a lot of players, new and old. You know how it goes. Authentic-like looking. They look great. They feel great. They always rep that navy blue, silver, and star no matter which style you get. Yeah, $10 you're in. Boom, looks like that. Big D, he's got a membership. I know he's got other drops in here, so he can stack them still and get more chances, more raffle entries. Try to win one of these 4
But do you know
jerseys.
what he had to say?
I can't wait.
F the Packers.
Fuck the Green Bay Fudge Packers.
Oh. Man, like I said, I know maybe McCarthy might not be thinking about it. That's great. I know I don't give a shit if it's not the Aaron Rodgers Green Bay Packers, although I admit that would have made it a little sweeter. Like, I just want to beat the Packers. Like, last time I checked, it wasn't the Aaron Rodgers Packers. It was the Green Packers.
Yeah, we got to slay some dragons, and it starts with Green Bay. The last 4 times they scored 34 points on us. They've beat us 5 straight times. Come on. Anyway, we got the Niners in the future as one of the dragons we're going to probably have to slay on the road. But right now, what I'm trying to say is we got to slay this. This is another dragon we got to slay right now. Don't you think? I mean, it's a pretty big deal for us to keep getting bounced. You know, against this bounce with losses
we
from
have
this
to
team.
Start somewhere, and the whole point is that if the only way to dominate at home and continue that streak is by winning the next game. That's how you keep a streak going. Agreed. So, you know, to me, the playoffs resets everything. Like, it's, you know, we're just as good or just as bad as Green Bay. We have to go out there and reprove everything we just spent 18 weeks proving. Like, I don't know, you know, what better way to put that. It seems like our players definitely have a different mindset than maybe in previous years we've heard. But at the same time, we've also heard different things from them before. So,
yeah,
you know.
Much love, the Bassmaster Baiter. I get you. Bassmaster Baiter. He's a baiter. He baits. He baits free. He has a bait. He's a baiter. Yep. Right? He catches bass.
Tokyo, I do like that energy. He said we ended that Tom Brady streak last year in the playoffs. It's time to end the Packers streak this year.
There you go. There's a pre-year slaying of a dragon. Brady off with his head, right? We slayed Belichick this year off with his head.
Even
finally,
skeptical fans throwing out there, there's no way that the Eagles sucking is a ploy. The Eagles would not just give us the second seed.
No way.
Like,
no matter what they say, Darius Slay, sick of slaying. No matter what he said, we'd rather play on the roads. We rather do the booze. Trust me, they'd rather be at home.
Exactly.
Trust me. And they don't want to be in the rain. It's going to be 95% chance rain. They don't want to play in the rain, guys.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just find it fascinating.
By the way, that drop by Big D takes Dwayne down to 10.
Oh.
That's right there for the taking. A $10 holler puts your name up on that stream boss as we're getting closer and closer for this big game. Who will be representing front and center with the wife and I here. Right now, it's Dwayne Broussard with the top dog, repping it with 10 points. Cooper Rush holler. By the way, someone drops 10. Not only do they take the stream boss in this case, but they either get in the raffle, they either add another raffle entry. That's automatic right there. Big D is 5 away from adding another raffle entry, by the way. And Big D, he's in 6th place on the overall board this week. Go. Some dominating numbers there from Big D in the place to be. Thank you, brother. And go Cowboys. Now, as we keep it rolling here, baby, again. So just want to throw out some numbers there. The youthfulness of this team. The Packers are the youngest in the playoffs right now, 25.13 years. And the Cowboys, second youngest, 26.36. We have a lot more edge on the experience side, playoff experience side, of course. Jordan Love, we talked about him yesterday. I'm not even talking about him that much today because we already spoke enough about their offense and the way we're going to stop them on defense. Tomorrow we'll break it down a lot more detail. But Jordan Love has matched Dak Prescott's stats in the last 8 weeks.
Okay.
So he has some Dak has some great stats for more than 8 weeks, but in the last 8 weeks, Jordan Love has matched a lot of his kind of numbers. When it comes to winning, both the Cowboys and the Packers have won 6 of their last 8 games. The Packers, they're playing with nothing to lose. And they probably enjoy it to some extent. They're young. They don't have nothing to lose. They know they shouldn't be there. But they're there. So we got to be careful with this team on offense, defense, and all over. So, and special teams. Speaking of special teams, baby. I know one of your favorite parts of the team when we talk about it. Special teams. We're going to talk about special teams starting off this Green Bay breakdown today here. Brandon Aubrey. It's a kicking award. It's an Aubrey award that we just got to name again here. Again, amongst all the other records he's broken this year, single season, rookie wise or long term wise. He missed only 2 kicks. That was the last 2. In the last game, he missed 2 kicks. The last one game of the season, his first misses. But Brandon Aubrey today was named NFC Special Teams Player of the Month once again. He won the award in both October and December as a first-year rookie player, as a rookie here, right? He had 58 points this month. He was 16 for 16 on point after kicks, point after touchdowns. He was 14 for 16 on field goals, of course. Mm-hmm. And he was 5 for 5 from 50 or more yards away. That's one of the real reasons he took it over the top
take it
there.
easy, Skeptical fan. Have a great night.
Yes, much love to you, Skeptical. In the house, always staying Skeptical, who, by the way, also is leading the gifting board as we speak when it comes to those memberships. Much love to you, Skeptical. Have a good one. So, Aubrey, Special Teams Player of the Month. You look at his final, that's what his stats of the month. Look at his final stats of the year. 36 for 38, 94.7% field goal rate. He's 10 for 10 this year. He hasn't missed from 50 or farther. He hit a 60-yarder as well. That is number 1 in the NFL, by the way. He made 49 of his 52 extra points, and he has 157 points contributed to the team. Baby, you know what that means? That's number 1 in the NFL. He has the most points in the NFL right now. Yeah, on the board, whether it's running backs, receivers, type. Kickers usually go up there as well. They usually get a lot of kickers usually do get a lot of the top points in the older days. But nowadays, usually it's a high-powered offensive player. Nuh-uh. Number 1 in the NFL is Brandon Aubrey with 157 points. With that 157, baby, he also broke a Dallas Cowboy franchise record, legendary Emmitt Smith's record. That's been standing since 1995, the last time he won a Super Bowl. That's the year Emmitt Smith broke the NFL single-season record rushing record for touchdowns. At the time, it was broken by LaDainian Tomlinson later, but Emmitt Smith at the time broke the touchdown rushing record that year, and also had, again, with all those touchdowns, he scored 150 points that season. Brandon Aubrey scored 157 this year, and he has passed Emmitt Smith. Can you believe Brandon Aubrey passing Emmitt Smith? No, he did when it comes to most points in a season. Brett Maher actually in 2022, last year, was second on this list. Was third on this list, was second until now. But he was he was behind Emmitt Smith. He had 137 points. Emmett 150. And now Brandon Aubrey 157. Aubrey 20 more points than Brett Maher had last year. Which is crazy numbers.
Insanity in general.
Who would have thunk it? Nobody. How much you love this guy, there's no way you would have thought he would have had that with the way the training camp and preseason was.
He never missed again.
He never missed again, basically, right? So when you look at special teams, right, and John Fossil, you got Brandon Aubrey, had his first 2 misses of the year, a block and then a miss, a doink. But his first year playing, Aubrey,
doink
again.
And then a boink.
Yeah. First year playing as a rookie, proved his worth, named to this year's Pro Bowl. Mm-hmm. He's going to be named an All-Pro, but he was named an All-Pro from the NFLPA side of things, which, again, all these things are incredible achievements. As an undrafted, rookie free agent, you look at the Packers kicker. We talked about our guy, but what about the Packers special teams? Their kicker. You guys know, I think it's John Carlson, isn't it, from the Raiders? Great kicker. Anders Carlson is the kicker for the Packers. Anders Carlson, his brother. He's the Packers kicker. Now we know Brandon Aubrey finished with almost 95% field goal percentage.
Yeah.
Anders Carlson, their kicker, finished with an 81% field goal percentage accuracy, which is, again, very far away from what Aubrey has done. All right? So right there, big advantage for the Cowboys at kicker. I think we can all agree on that, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
we got Aubrey.
Miles and leagues ahead.
And Aubrey, don't fall asleep on us here, Aubrey. We need you to stay true here. Now, what about Brian Anger? We got our special teams coach here, Bones Fossil.
Fuego, have a great night. Take it easy.
Good night, Fuego. Appreciate you. But Brian Anger finished with the second highest yards per punt this year, really helping out our defense, getting our offense out of bad situations. So Brian Anger, second highest yards per punt. That's why he's a Pro Bowler. He's done exceptionally well as a punter this year. Really been the most steady guy in the last couple of decades as far as punter for us. Really a steady force of special teams. Now, when you flip it over to the other side, Green Bay special teams and punter, Daniel Whalen. He is right now ranking 25th among all punters when it comes to yards per punt. Not a very, I guess you could say, far. He doesn't punt the ball very far. Nothing compared to what Brian Anger does. He also has more yards returned against him than Brian Anger does against him, proving that, okay, that's not really his fault, but what it does show is coverage. And our team covers very well. Thank you, John Fosso, when it comes to punt return coverage. What I'm saying? Our guys don't let, the punts get back any yardage. That net yardage stays very good for Brian Anger. And a lot of that is the punting, a lot of that is our coverage. But for them, our special teams unit has played it just a lot better than the Green Bay Packers special teams unit when it comes to punts and covering punts. Now, when it comes to punt returns, kick returns, we know Turpin hasn't had any big returns really this year. One or two.
We've tried. We
were there for the Rams game. We thought he had one, but it was called back as a silly penalty. But on Sean Wright. But neither the Cowboys or the Packers have had huge success on punt returns, kickoff returns this year.
Okay,
Cavante Turpin.
Probably not expect any now.
Just expect a lot of touchbacks on kickoffs and probably a lot of fair catches on punts.
Okay.
Turpin ranks 57th in yards right now. And their specialist, which is Jaden Reed, one of their starting receivers, he's their slot receiver. He ranks 46th. Two guys that don't get much yardage on returns on punts. We know kickoffs, nobody even really follows kickoffs anymore because you don't get any yards on kickoffs at all. So that's the breakdown on special teams, baby. That was pretty fast, right? We're going to break down the defense in a minute, but first, let's take a look at the injury report when it comes to the Packers. And of course, again, this is not about, I'm not wishing injury or nothing like that. This is the injury report on that G. As you can see, the little disabled G right there. I'm just saying.
Thank you for breaking that down.
Had to do it.
I wasn't sure what it was.
Had to do it. Packer a little disabled. Cornerback, Jair Alexander. This guy is one of their best guys. A little wacky with the coin toss thing. He was suspended from his own team for one game from the Packers. But Alexander did not practice today for the Packers. That's concerning. Okay. All right? Nobody really knew what happened. Elgin Jenkins, which is their starting offensive lineman, had a rest day. So when you see his name come up, it's not because he's hurt. He's getting a did not play a resting day. A.J. Dillon with the injured neck and back. Remember, we talked a little bit about him earlier, missed the practice, but at practice, he was in pads. Still didn't do anything, though, in practice. So Matt LaFleur addressed Jair Alexander. Jair Alexander's injury is not really knowing why he wasn't on the field, and he did get injured. Matt LaFleur said that Jair Alexander stepped on a teammate's foot, went in walkthrough, and rolled his ankle.
Shit.
That's major when you're a cornerback, and you're a cornerback that's going to have to cover. Who are you going to cover? CeeDee Lamb. You're the guy tasked to cover CeeDee Lamb, and now Jair Alexander rolled his ankle. Now, he's doing everything he can play. He might not be able to, but he's doing everything he can do to play this Sunday against the Cowboys. According to Matt LaFleur, the Packers head coach, quote, "It was a freaky deal. He was focused. He was locked in. He was doing everything we were asking him to do, and then it just happened."
Man,
we were the Trayvon Diggs situation. Trayvon Diggs thing cost us for the whole year, but this is a rolled ankle.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's a little more severe than they really wanted it to obviously be. Yesterday was a jog-through day. All right? So we're going to see what happened. Today was a little more rough. That's what he got tweaked here with his ankle. Jair Alexander will have to see if again, they're number one cornerback. LaFleur said that Jair is considered day-to-day. And they just thought today would be best if he didn't push through it. So that's the deal there with Jair Alexander.
Kind of similar to how we manage some of our Cowboys throughout this week, right?
I agree, but this is a different situation. This happened in practice, right?
Agree.
So
I'm just saying.
Good. I'm going to say this when it comes to Jair Alexander, who's going to be tasked to cover. This is one of our matchups this week. Tomorrow we're going to talk about it. He's the main guy covering CeeDee Lamb. He's not a slot receiver. He's not a nickel cornerback. He's an outside guy. If CeeDee goes on the outside, he will be on the outside against CeeDee Lamb. If CeeDee's in the nickel, in the slot against the nickel corner, that's a whole different matchup, which I know we can exploit. But Jair will play him wherever side he is on the outside. And the important thing is that it's already tough enough. It would have been tough enough for Jair Alexander to cover CeeDee Lamb in a normal situation. Now with a rolled ankle at best taped up, definitely not 100%, covering CeeDee Lamb on the outside, that could be trouble. I would test him out. I would test him out and go deep with CD and do some route stuff to twist him up, put him in a blender, so to speak, and then, let that ankle show, let that injury show, let that wound not heal. That's the point. I'm not saying we never root for injuries, but with an injury and a weakness, you attack it.
Yeah.
And Jair Alexander is a fantastic player, but he has a weakness on him right now. And I think this is another key we can look at later in the week. We're going to talk about it. But again, we got to see where he's at. I do hope he's okay and it's best to play. Give us your best shot. But he definitely won't be 100%, guys. That's for sure. So with the second injury report on the Packers side, Jair was downgraded. All right, he was limited yesterday. Today, he did not practice. All right, he was limited because of a shoulder issue. He rolled the ankle, and that's why he didn't practice. So he's got like 2 injuries on him right now. Shoulder injury similar to our cornerback, Stephon Gilmore, right? Now, I'm not saying a similar type of injury, but he got banged up on that same kind of, part of his body, so to speak. Now, A.J. Dillon, who was in pads, did not practice. That's 2 days back-to-back. I'm thinking it's just out of caution. They're going to try to get him some snaps to relieve Aaron Jones at running back. That's my thought there. But he does have multiple injuries for him, guys. All right? A.J. Dillon has a thumb injury and a neck injury. And when it comes to Elgin Jenkins, who did not practice today, which, again, we knew because he wasn't out there. We knew it was a rest day. He still has a knee and an ankle injury, too. He's their guard tackle. He's playing guard right now, but he's got
shoulders, knees, and toes.
Yeah, every one of their guys have multiple injuries, guys. It's crazy, but they're all. Even though we had 19 guys on this list yesterday, they all practiced but one. Today they had a couple other guys that didn't practice, like Jair Alexander did not practice today. Elgin Jenkins did not practice today, and the other guy who probably is, we know he didn't practice, A.J. Dillon. Those are the 3 guys that did not practice. The only guys that didn't practice for them. And those are 3 major players. Now, probably 2 out of these 3 guys are getting the rest, mainly. And, Jair Alexander is going to be the biggest question mark, I think, out of the 3. Dillon's a question mark, too. Jenkins is getting rest. That's their major concerns at injury situations for them right now. What about limited guys today for them? I'm going to go through it quick, guys. Romeo Doubs, receiver. Again, it was a question of him playing, so keep that in mind. But I believe he will play this game. He's just kind of wrestling with the chest injury. He's one of their receivers. Aaron Jones, of course, their running back, number 33. They're just giving him a little rest, limited practice with a knee and a finger injury. Isaiah McDuffie, linebacker, concussion and a neck, limited both days. That's going to be about getting through the protocol or not. Jonathan Owens at safety, knee injury, limited both days right now in practice. Same thing with TJ Slayton with a knee and a foot. Injury limited. Preston Smith, they're very good outside pass rushing linebacker. Ankle injury, but he's going to play. He's just been limited this week. They're resting him up. Christian Watson, this is interesting now. He's not really listed as ready to go, and it's still a question mark if their number 1 receiver is Christian Watson and he's going to play this game. He's trying to come back from a multi-week injury, I think. I know he tweaked it last week with the hamstring. Limited in practice back-to-back days. So a lot of question marks for Green Bay, and I don't think every one of these names I just said are going to be good to go, for like our side of being limited. They're not just rest days for these guys. So they have a little bit more banged-up, disabled team than we may think. Definitely much more than us. So another advantage going for the Cowboys there as far as, health-wise. That's a lot is maybe luck. A lot of that is also McCarthy management, possibly, right? And then when you look at the situation with the guys that were full practice today, and all these guys should be playing. Their tight end rookie, who is their starter, Luke Musgrave. We talked about him yesterday with the kidney. 2 days in a row, full practice. Their starting center, Josh Myers, neck injury, full practice 2 days. Jaden Reed, full practice. Sean Ryan, guard, full practice. Darnell Savage at safety, full practice. Same thing with their starting offensive lineman, Zach Tom with the finger, full practice. Quay Walker at linebacker, full at practice, and running back, the 3rd or 4th stringer, Emmanuel Watson with the shoulder, full practice. So good news for all these guys and their injuries. Now, I know, now when it comes to our guys, we already spoke about our guys, but I don't know I guess we'll talk about Tyler Smith and his injury and some of the offense here. I know they spoke today.
They did.
But we'll get to them in a minute as we go through our Cowboys. Now that we broke down the injuries on the Packers, our injuries, let's get to our offense as we get down to the end of this, to their defense. All right? And this Packer defense, which has some powerful players there, but are they going to be able to do, are they that much more powerful than anybody that's average or a little bit above average? We'll talk about it. Now, first and foremost on this board, let's talk about Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, guys, right now is up for one of the 3 quarterbacks for the FedEx Air Player of the Year.
Oh, boy.
All right. So it's a big award. They'll probably do this right before the Super Bowl. But right now you got to vote for this. And again, air and ground. They do this for the running back and the receiver and the quarterback. But the 3 guys they have is Tua, Brock Purdy, and Dak Prescott. Tua's got around 25%. Purdy's got about 23%. Dak's got 52%.
Wow.
Of these votes. Still 6 days left. There's been about, 40,000 votes already submitted. So it's not like there's 10 votes and that's how it's coming out. So, again, Dak definitely seems to be the quarterback of the year, so to speak. When you look at next-gen stats, all right, we looked at them always as a guide. They named their all-pro team. And Dak Prescott is the quarterback of their analytical. This is all analytics now. The best quarterback in the league is Dak Prescott, according to PFF.
Well, there you go.
I'm sorry, according to next-gen stats. Christian McCaffrey got the running back spot there. Tyreek Hill got one of the 3 receiver spots with Brandon Ayuk from the Niners and CeeDee Lamb also in this list. So, Dak, CeeDee Lamb, some of the best analytical players of the league of the year. And, I'm going to talk about Dak Prescott a little bit more when it comes to the Packer matchup. But I want you to tell me what Dak had to say today about, after practice. He had a couple words to say. Of course, everybody in the house, before we even get there, hit the like, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell.
Follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily, and make sure to hop in Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below. An extra special shout out, of course, is sponsor of the week, Jason Renfro, the membership gifting king, JD from DC, up above, Dwayne Broussard, the top dog, stream boss, holding on with 10 points, Cooper Rush style, and Snug X, the Cash App King.
Yes.
You know why he's here.
The leaders this week, repping it for the playoffs, for possibly the next week's playoffs, Marissa Sparkle in first place on the overall board and in the Cash App board. Second place on that overall board right now is Calvin Richards, by the way. But Marissa Sparkle leading both of those. And when it comes to the gifting side of things, Skeptical Fan had he said good night already, but he is the leader with 6 to Jason Renfro's current 3 in the gifting membership overall leaderboard there. So good luck to everybody. Much love to everybody. And extra special thank you to Mr. The Lunatic. We have a raffle going down, 4 jerseys, 4 winners. All right, each winner gets a jersey. You guys know the deal, sewn and stitched. Different kinds, new school, old school players, different styles, men, women, children, sizes. And how do they get in this thing, baby, to try to get a chance and up their chances to win one of these great sewn and stitched jerseys?
Of course, if you drop $10, bam, you're automatically entered. And those entries are cumulative, so guess what? If you keep dropping, you keep stacking entries. If you're an MCF member, of course, you do get an additional bonus entry once you're in the raffle. And there's going to be 4 individual winners, so I can't wait to see who they are.
Yeah, stack those raffle entries in the membership, bonus entry, and much love. And always repping that star for everything, the Lunatic, the Godfather here at MCF. So, baby, hit me with what Dak said today.
So, first of all, he started off with shit, yeah. That was his reaction to whether home field advantage at AT&T stadiums, if our fans play a factor. So, I think he had a big, long, diatribe. He said a lot more than just shit, yeah. Just saying, that's how we're starting things off. Shit, yeah. So, anyway, Dak also, this was kind of funny. So, Dak has been buying a lot of Louis Vuitton this year. He said there's a reason. Quote, I've got a lot of Louis Vuitton stuff. Why? It's because the LV is Las Vegas. If I look at my bag, it's all LV, literally. I just went and got my girl a bag the other day. I'm like, the only one I'm getting is these ones with the LV logo on it.
I thought you said LVE for a second.
I think he took that as like a weird little superstitious sign because,
he kept looking at his bag. It said LV. LV's where the Super Bowl is. You guys get it? You guys get it?
At first, I thought he was kind of trolling us, but then I'm like, no, crap. That's absolutely a weird superstitious thing that
it's
I would do.
superstitious.
I'm just saying, like,
I agree.
I don't mind it. Hey, he's got the money to fund that.
The thing is, it's also a motivator, too, I think, to keep the mind on the prize, which is the Super Bowl.
I agree. So, as far as the difference about this Cowboy playoff team versus others, Dak said, I don't know if I've had this much confidence or a greater feel than I have with this offense, with this team, with our approach and how we're going to go and take care of things. And you know what? He's right. At least for him personally, that's certainly the case. So another argument to be made for it's got to be here and now, right? So
a lot of reasons it has to be this year.
And Dak, was asked, like, okay, so you do feel better about yourself heading into this? He said, I always feel good about myself. A lot of self-talk. Yeah, it goes with the guys around me as well, the players around me, the coaches, the system we've created and the culture this team has. It's not just how I feel about myself. It's about these other guys, the confidence they give me. I don't know if I've had this much confidence or a greater feel than I've had with our approach, right? So, again, it's not just... Dak's always been, like, a very confident person in his own abilities, but the fact that this team trusts him to, like, lead them fuels him.
Yeah, a lot of fueling. LV, the Louis Vuitton, the LV to the Super Bowl.
And then, of course, you can't be a great quarterback without some great receivers. So that goes hand in hand. And as far as also being one of a record 6 black quarterbacks leading their team into the playoffs, I mean, that is a bit of a historic moment here for the NFL. 6 out of 14 teams, right? Dak said a lot of pride, honestly. It shows really how far we've come since people would say, oh, there wouldn't be that number consistently. Just even starters, much less that these guys are in the playoffs playing at a high level. Yeah, just super honored, and I'm super proud with the rest of these guys to, go and be another black quarterback that wins it.
Hey, we have the guy to do it too here. I think we do. I know we do.
I think we do. So, someone else who also thinks that. Oh, sorry.
No. Before we get to any, I don't know if you have. Is that the Dak portion?
Yeah, that's the Dak portion of the commentary.
I'm gonna kind of input a little bit more on Dak here and some of the breakdown situation before we get to CeeDee Lamb. And he's in the background. You see CeeDee Lamb in the background. He's showing everybody that, hey, the Packers suck with SpongeBob Cheesehead. So, Dak Prescott, baby, in the playoffs, all right? He has a 2-4 record. His playoff career stats down a little bit than his normal kind of regular season stuff when it comes to completion percentage. 63.4. Still good, but nothing to his usually 67, 69%. He also has thrown in these 6 games 1,559 yards. Not that great. He does have 11 passing touchdowns to 5 interceptions. So, again, pretty good, but it could be better, right? Especially after this year. I think these numbers will go up after these playoffs are done, after the Super Bowl is done. I think these numbers will be a lot higher. So, we'll see what happens. But, more importantly, and guys, this is what it's about here. You're seeing these guys behind Dak Prescott, not Alexander as much, but more like number 97, number 52, number 91. Number 91, guys, is Preston Smith. We're going to talk a little about him in a minute. Number 52 is Rashawn Gary. You got to be very, very aware of this guy here. Both these guys are outside linebackers at passers. They're basically edge rushers, and they're big. And then you got 97 in the middle there, guys. One of the 3-4 edge end guys, which is really a 5-tech type of guy. Kenny Clark. All dangerous guys, and I'm going to bring them up here now in a moment because Dak Prescott might be, again, if this offensive line falters a little bit, especially in the middle. Yeah. Whatever the reason with Biotish, I don't know, who knows. Whatever. We got all 5 guys back, so we should not so falter that much. But Dak Prescott versus pressure. Dak has, this year, under pressure, 3,351 yards. That's like 75% of his yards are under pressure. Passing touchdowns under pressure, 27 touchdowns out of the 36 under pressure. He has thrown 8 of his 9 interceptions under pressure. So we don't want him pressured if possible. But he does do well when he's pressured. Completion percentage above expectations when pressured. He's above the expectation there by 3.3%. And the passer rating when he's under pressure, 105.5. That's fucking amazing. Most quarterbacks, if they get in the 90s, that's amazing. He's in the hundreds under pressure. Yeah, exactly. A little Bowie, you want to go Vanilla Ice, steal the song, whatever you want. The point is, under pressure, Dak thrives. Blitzed, Dak thrives. When it comes to big-time throws for Dak Prescott, we're talking about throws that are over 20 yards. Dak is number 1 in the regular season among all quarterbacks.
Put some respect on that quarterback's name.
Big-time throws, 20 yards or more in the air. That's Dak Prescott, number 1. And here's my question as we start talking about Dak and the ability to throw the ball here. Will there be chances downfield, the vertical attack? Remember, this is the most vertical attack touchdowns. Not by Dak, but in the NFL since 2018 and Andrew Luck. The vertical attack since that first 6 weeks of shit that we saw in the offense from McCarthy side. Yeah. After the bye week, we virtually attacked. We were attacking more down the field, and that has been the second best since 2018 when it comes to getting touchdowns that way. Will there be chances for us to do this against Green Bay's defense? Dak's passer rating on passes with 10 yards or above in air yards, 128.5 is his passer rating. That is number 2 in the NFL.
Once again,
yeah,
extremely impressive.
But how about the Packers? Their defense, when it comes to passes that are 10 yards or more in the air, they allow 102.3 passer rating against them. Again, that's like Dak under pressure. Shit, now you're giving us 10 yards in the air? I mean, Dak's gonna, his number's gonna go up, guys. The Packers are 27th in the NFL when it comes to allowing a lot of air yards, 10 yards or more. They're 27th at allowing this. Dak's one of the best. He's second best at doing this. Let's go. Here we go. Come on, Cowboys. This week specifically, again, a matchup we'll talk about maybe a lot more tomorrow. Mm-hmm. The Cowboys face a Green Bay defense, pass defense, that finished within the top 10 in fewest passing yards allowed, which is kind of weird. They're like, okay, so they're pretty good on pass defense, right? But they're also allowing 21 passing touchdowns this year. That's the exact same amount as the Cowboys have allowed. So, okay, pretty good, right? But you got to look at context here, all right? When it comes to the passing defense by the Green Bay Packers.
So what's the context?
They rank second last when it comes to total interceptions. They rank 10th worst when it comes to total sacks. All right, so they don't get sacks, they don't get turnovers. They do kind of they do kind of bend and don't break, I guess, but they don't get stops. Like they don't get turnovers and sacks. They're allowing the 7th worst passer rating in the league, which means that they are allowing, they're like 25th or 26th in the NFL when the quarterbacks are attacking and slicing and dicing their defenses. The Packers, again, guys, being the 7th worst passer rating in the league, this is all for really a major reason. Teams rarely even have to throw against the Packers. They don't have to throw against them. There's no need. The Packers have an average of only 30 pass attempts against their defense per game. 30 attempts per game is the average on the defense.
It's easy to have those types of numbers if
you're not throwing against.
Never throwing.
But why is that? Because you can run all over this team. I'll explain. But that even the 30 pass attempts per game is the 4th fewest in the league. No one's really throwing against them because there's no need to. Yeah, I said it. There's no real need to throw against them. So I named a couple names on this defensive front. Well, let's start off with the pass rush on Dak, because we're talking about, are they going to get pressure on us? Are they going to be able to stop Dak or slow him down? Kenny Clark, number 97. TJ Slayton, their nose tackle, number 93. Devontae Wyatt, number 95. Okay, guys to watch, of course, in the front 3 inside. And the edge rushers, Rashawn Gary, number 52. You see him right there. You see number 91 jumping on him. Preston Smith, formerly of Washington, of the Commanders. So these are the 5 guys we're going to talk about for a second. And their defensive line overall has been pretty good. They have not generated nearly as many pressures as the Cowboy defense, but they have gotten to the quarterback 45 times for sacks. We have 46 sacks on our defense. So I'm just trying to say they are kind of up there with the sack numbers, right? It's only one less than Dallas. But on the defensive line, the guy to watch inside there, one of the 3 guys inside, is Kenny Clark, number 97. He plays at the defensive tackle position, and among defensive tackles, he ranks, and again, defensive tackle in a 3-4 defense, but he ranks 5th in sacks as a defensive tackle. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty good. Inside, they're going to get pressure. They're going to try to get pressure inside. So that's why Tyler Smith, Zach Martin back, major pluses right there. So Kenny Clark ranks 5th in the league in sacks. He can generate a lot of pressure if he's not being blocked, if he's not being checked. So we got to make sure that as long as he's being called out for there and being watched, we should be able to kind of keep him in check. All right. Right behind number 97, Frank Clark, is 2nd-year tackle on the other side of him, I guess you can say, kind of the 5-tech defensive tackle edge guy on the 3-4, Devontae Wyatt. I think he's number 95, Devontae Wyatt. And he is a guy who's been playing very well as a pass rusher. He himself has also 6 sacks, guys. Very good inside. I mean, these 2 guys here are getting, doing great stuff here. Again, Kenny Clark leading in sacks inside. They're 5th in the NFL. And then right behind them is Devontae Wyatt with 5 sacks on his own. From the interior as a kind of, a 5-tech defensive tackle. So they have really good pass rushers inside. And on the edge, number 52, Rashawn Gary, he leads the team overall. And again, when it comes to Kenny Clark, he leads the tackles in the NFL, 5th best in sacks. But when it comes to the team, Rashawn Gary leads the Packers in overall sacks, number 52. And he's only 2nd behind Frank Clark in pressures. He leads every other category, but Frank Clark, 97, is the only guy that has more pressures than Rashawn Gary.
Okay.
All right? Now, these guys are very vital. Number 91 is also important to keep an eye on. Number 91 is Preston Smith, and he is 2nd on the team overall when it comes to pressure. when it comes to sacks. And I'm going to say he is he's 2nd on the team in sacks, Preston Smith. I read that wrong. And he also has 12 pressures.
Okay.
All right? In the last 3 games, he has 3 sacks in the last 3 games. So the guy is getting there a little more often and more, in more of the recent games here where they had 3 really good games to finish up the season. This defense in the last 3 games has generated the 2nd most sacks in the NFL in this 3-game stretch and the highest sack rate in this last 3 games in the NFL. So they have been coming on late as far as pressuring and getting sacks.
All right.
That means the Cowboys' offensive line got to be on their toes, on the inside and on the edge.
It's a good thing we're expected to have all these guys
That's
back
the key.
and
That
available,
is the key.
which is huge.
Yes, that is the key, is the fact that we need Tyron Smith, Terrence Steele having their best games possible. Thank you for the management from McCarthy on Tyron Smith. But inside with Biotish, who's over the illness, Zach Martin over the illness, Tyler Smith, looking good to go with the torn plantar fascia. This is extremely important, and we'll talk about the matchups a little more tomorrow. But we're not done yet because the Packers defense, they struggle in run defense. This is where their biggest Achilles heel. They've allowed the 5th most rushing yards this year. They've allowed the 7th most rushing touchdowns this year. So if we get to the goal line, don't fuck around and throw. Run. Let's get this touchdown. It's all indicative of the very traditional 3-4 defense that they have to run. Now, that's the way they do this. It's easier to run on them when they don't have the right guys that can kind of fit into that scheme. So the Cowboys should be, again, to me, follow the trend that the opponents have. And don't worry about throwing you can throw, but don't worry about overthrowing it here, McCarthy, unless it's a secure, 4-yard pass that you get an easy 4 yards. I understand that's like a run, but I think we should balance a little more run into this game, in my opinion. When it comes to, we should run right at them in the sense of they have the 6th most rush attempts against Green Bay's defense. The 6th most rushing attempts against any team. 6th most is the Green Bay Packers. That means teams like to run against them a lot. All right? You got to watch, again, I talked about TJ Slayton, their nose tackle. That's number 93. He's been hit or miss this year. He's So you run at him in the middle, Biotish, with some combo blocking from Tyler Smith or from Zach Martin, that is going to open up some lanes inside for Tony Pollard and running the ball, guys. So attack the interior in this game. I usually don't say attack the inside, but I think attacking the inside is good. They got a lot of great pass rushers, but the run stopping is not their forte. So when TJ Slayton's been run at and attacked and he underperforms, the Packers have lost. They haven't been able to win games when they attack, when teams attack and are successful running inside against them. So when you look at the fact that they, on top of the run stopping issues they have the lowest sack total when they are on the road. So at home is one thing. Mm-hmm. They might get some more sacks at home, but on the road, they have the lowest sack total than any other team in the NFL when on the road at getting sacks. And they're going to be on the road in Dallas. So, when we talk about being on the road and the Packers being in Dallas, not at home, their rush defense, their pass rush defense, although pretty decent, they have had problems shutting down and slowing down the opposing team's run and their running offense. So, to me, even though we haven't done a lot of running, we're like a little above average when it comes to overall running. I think we're 13th or something like this, running the ball yardage-wise. We should focus on running the ball inside against a good pass rush team that will run right past our running backs, whoever it may be, Pollard, Rico Dowdle, Dak Prescott in some situations. I think that, they have problems slowing down opposing running games. They allow an average of 145 yards per game. And they allow the 6th most rushing touchdowns in the league. Attack this team in the air, but also you can attack them on the ground. And baby, we talked about we talked about offensive linemen, and I want to talk about Tyler Smith because you have some info on him. But the evolution of Tyler Smith is something I'm going to bring up here. Left guard. Listen to this, baby. From rookie to really, he's an all-pro, right? In the sense of he was already voted that by NFLPA, but I think he'll be. He didn't get the Pro Bowl, but I think he might get it. Will he get an all-pro vote, which is the historic one from the AP? We'll see. But listen to this. He had all rookie honors last year, right? He was our first-round pick.
Yeah.
He allowed 39 total pressures last year. This year, Tyler Smith, 17 total pressures. That's a big drop. That's over 20.
Yeah.
Less pressures allowed. Last year, he allowed 11 quarterback hits. This year, only 2.
Ooh.
He allowed 6 sacks last year. 2 of them were to Aaron Donald, by the way. So 4.
That hurts, but it's still.
This year, he allowed 1 sack. And last year, 13 penalties. This year, 13 penalties.
Okay,
so he still got the penalties. We knew that was coming out of college going to be an issue. Run blocking grade. 72.4 last year. He went up to 79.7 this year.
Again, so much positive progress. That's great. He's only going to continue to get better.
Yeah, when you look at our starting offensive lineman, Tyler Smith, 4.3% of pressure percentage allowed. Only 4%. That's number 1 amongst all left guards in the NFL. I'll get into this more, but I know you got more, baby, on Tyler Smith and what he said about his injury. And again, this is one of those things that, we know he's going to probably play, but why is it that torn plantar fascia, why is that better than being just not all the way torn off?
Yeah. So first of all, he reiterated, he's not a doctor. He secondly said he's feeling a whole lot better now than he was last week. He said that he needed a doctor to explain it, saying, I guess I was kind of educated. When Doc was like, this is a good thing, I was kind of looking at him like, question mark, what does that mean? He had kind of explained to me the science. I'm not a doctor, guys, so just bear with me on that. I'm just glad it was the best case scenario considering what happened. He said that he'd been feeling some discomfort in his left foot for a few weeks before the Lions game, but he wouldn't classify it as an injury, saying it wasn't anything abnormal. Nothing that I'm not used to dealing with. Nothing you can't roll out of your foot with a lacrosse ball. It just kind of happened.
Damn.
So, and to really kind of clarify, guys, because I know a lot of us are kind of like, how the heck is that better? So a tear is better because even though it's more painful in the moment, it has a much quicker healing process than plantar fasciitis, which has a more prolonged recovery time. So just straight, simple, to the point. It basically just has to do with the way that the muscle repairs itself and where it's located. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So the number one thing, too, and also I'm glad to hear from Tyler Smith, because we all kind of asked ourselves, how do you go from you're fine to freaking torn plantar fascia, right? So he had been feeling a little discomfort, but it obviously went from 0 to 60 there very, very quickly. So as far as having our starting offensive line back, even Tony Pollard had to say it's big. They're crucial to our success in the pass and run game. Everything we do, we need them to get it done. So, as far as Sunday specifically, for Tyler Smith, it's all about pain management. We already knew it, guys. It's how much pain can he handle and deal with while he's out there. He said you don't want to favor anything. You want to play free. You want to play within your full range of capability. So I think that's my biggest thing. Again, I hate to say we see some kind of offensive line rotation, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a drive maybe without Tyler Smith. Just throwing that out there, depending on how things go. I'm just saying.
Some of the level of maybe pain he's in.
Exactly,
possibly, right?
and that's why I said, it's. I wouldn't necessarily think it's a good thing. It absolutely is. We're trying to keep him here for the rest of this game, type of thing.
Makes sense.
So
obviously.
And the final kind of little comment there, as far as our O-line, Zach Martin, unfortunately had to miss our last regular season game. He was asked, how are you feeling? He said, I'm feeling better. It was a rough first 36 hours for me, but my guys went out there and took care of business, and I'm feeling a lot better.
Oh, Zach, breaking that down for us, the offensive line-wise. Zach Martin, baby. I talked about Tyler Smith, right? He had a 4.3% pressure percentage allowed, right? That's number one amongst all left guards. What about Zach Martin, the right guards? He allowed 4.7% pressure percentage allowed. That's second amongst all right guards. So you got the best left guard guy when it comes to stopping pressure. You got the second best right guard guy in Zach Martin, when it comes to allowing pressure. And don't forget about Tyron Smith. Old man Tyron after the management by McCarthy, and the way they kind of
managed to keep him alive this whole season.
Tyron Smith at left tackle, 6.5% pressure percentage allowed. That is number one. Best amongst all left tackles in the NFL. Let me just finish one thing about Tyron Smith here. On 536 pass blocking snaps this year, he allowed 1 sack. Tyron Smith. 1 sack in 536 pass blocking.
That's impressive as fuck.
And he allowed 1 quarterback hit this entire season. There's a lot of reasons why. You welcome number 77 back here every year. That he wants to play. You don't let this guy go. Because as long as you keep him, maintain him healthy.
Until the wheels fall off, there's always a place for Tyron Smith on our O-line.
Yeah, you don't wait till the wheels fall off, but if you manage him right, I think you can get more out of him before you have to worry about the wheels falling off. So, you have to always, in my mind, when you have number 77, when you have Tyron Smith.
McCarthy certainly changed my mind on my mindset there on Tyron Smith. I agree. I see him as a possibly viable piece for still a few years, even if it's in a more rotational or backup type of role, if it means that he's fully ready to
I don't think he's in a backup role. He's still one of the best in the league when he's healthy. To me, it's keeping him healthy and having a backup plan. That's more important. That's what I've been saying for a couple of years. Just have a backup plan and get him out there for 12, 13 games and the playoffs. He's worth keeping as long as you have a backup plan. Get a good enough guy that can hang in there for 4 or 5 games, and that's it. Simple as that. And nobody bitches or worries about it. That's it.
True.
So, when we move into other things, so we talk about the blocking, the running ability for the Cowboys, and what we should be able to do with Rico Dowdle and Tony Pollard. They're linebackers. You see none of them are on this picture. Quay Walker. He is their right interior linebacker, number 7. And then you have Devondre Campbell, who's the other linebacker, the left side linebacker there, inside linebacker, formerly of Arizona, if you know his name. This linebacker duo for the Packers is a interesting combination. Quay Walker, all right. To me, he kind of reminds me of almost like a I don't know, not say Micah, but more like a Marquise Bell almost in a way. I see him out there making picks and returning them for pick sixes and stuff. Quay Walker is used as a pass rusher to help teams, to help the Packers pass defense, and also he plays sometimes as an off-ball linebacker. He leads the Packers in tackles and leads them in defensive stops, but he also has 3 sacks under his belt. So you see he's an all-around kind of guy there at linebacker, number 7, Quay Walker. I know he gave us some trouble when we played him in Green Bay last time. He has 6 sacks, which is 6th on the team, by the way. 3 sacks, 6th on the team. Now, Devondre Campbell, all right, and again, he's another interior guy, number 59. He's more of a traditional LVE run stopper. Think of LVE, all right? He's a run stopper, ranks 4th in tackles on the team, which is not much for an interior run stopper there. But, again, these guys can be exposed. And how do we expose them? Well, it's pretty simple, guys. Pass game. We want to pass. You don't have to go down the field every single time. We know Dak can hit the big bombs on this team, but we don't have to go and tear. We can go to Mr. Ferguson or others that are doing some crossing routes. I'll explain in a minute, guys. And the pass game is where these linebackers have issues against our Cowboy defense. I mean, their defense will have problems against our Cowboy offense. Yeah. So they get exposed in the passing game. Both have their struggles. Both their starting linebackers, Quay Walker, Devondre Campbell, have issues and struggles in coverage, especially when they got to face a player, a tight end, like Jake Ferguson. Believe it or not, guys. When Jake Ferguson is coming over the middle, it gives their linebacking core a lot of issues. All right? Isaiah McDuffie, right now, he's another option for them on their, when it comes to the linebacker spot. He's in concussion protocol. I know he's limited right now in practice. Got to see if he's going to play. But if he fails to return, all right, he's their best pass coverage linebacker All right? When it comes to Isaiah McDuffie, he might not play this game. All right? If he's not on the field at all, when you throw, you want to attack and expose their linebackers with your tight ends or any crossing slot guys like CeeDee Lamb or Brandon Cooks. So, again, we know at linebacker they have, technically linebacker is Damone Clark and Rashawn Gary. They're pass rushers most of the time. But they're pretty much, they also will help out with some linebacker duties out there on the outside. And when it comes to tackle numbers, they are about the same area, the same range of tackles with each other. So nothing special about either of them when it comes to stopping the run or making tackles. But when you look at our defense for a moment, Marquise Bell, he's outperformed any of the second choice linebackers for Green Bay in every single way. Marquise Bell is better than these linebackers. On top of that, the pass coverage by both our Cowboy linebackers, specifically Marquise Bell, is far better than the pass coverage that Green Bay has at their linebacker positions. So we are dangerous to throw against our defense when you try to do the intermediate stuff, crossing routes, or going to the tight end. Often we have guys there ready to roll, plus some help from Jaron Kearse. But flip it around to them. Quay Walker, Devondre Campbell, they have major struggles in covering players in coverage. And even Isaiah McDuffie, if he plays, which he might not, he's their best guy, still gets outperformed by guys like Marquise Bell in coverage. So, again, when you look at this situation here, just an example, our pass coverage is better this year by the linebacking core for our team here. Far better than Green Bay's pass coverage situation, right? Collectively, the Cowboys' two linebackers have allowed less touchdowns and far lower passer ratings against them when in coverage than these two guys on their defense at the linebacker spot. So who do we use to attack? Well, it's Dalton Schultz. I mean, not Dalton Schultz. I'm bringing Dalton Schultz away. It's Jake Ferguson. And we had Dalton Schultz as a guy that we could use to attack in the past, right? I mean, we gave him a franchise tag, Dalton Schultz. From 2020 to 2021 and 2022, for 3 years, you got to take the averages of what Dalton Schultz did to able to get that franchise tag, right? And get to the Pro Bowl. He had 94 targets, right? This year, Ferguson had 96 targets. And this is the average now. We're talking about Dalton Schultz. Schultz averaged in those 3 years 66 catches per year. Ferguson this year, 71 catches. Schultz, who's with the Texans right now, doing all right. 667 yards is what his average yearly totals were in yardage. Ferguson has 761 receiving yards this year.
Damn. And
Dalton Schultz, remember, got the franchise tag, got to the Pro Bowl, got a big deal, big contract with Houston. Looked at one of the better tight ends in the league at the time. When he was with the Cowboys for these years, scored 5 touchdowns on average, 15 in total in 3 years, 5 per year. Jake Ferguson scored 5 this year. So my point is that he is at or above the averages of Dalton Schultz when it comes to Jake Ferguson.
And if anything, he's done it in a faster rate too.
Schultz
timeline-wise.
2 years, first 2 years, Schultz didn't do shit. You know what I'm saying? Last year,
this is just Ferguson's second year.
Right. Last year, Ferguson didn't do shit either. Let's look at it that way. But when you get the second year of Dalton Schultz, he was out the whole. He didn't do it. Not out, but he didn't play much. He was blocking most of the time. Ferguson's out there being Schultz in his best year. You know what I'm saying, in a way. Also, the reason I'm mentioning Ferguson in this and the tight ends, I'm talking about guys like Hendershot, Schoonmaker, and whoever else is out there playing that it could be Lipke. My point is this: Green Bay, when it comes to tight ends, they rank dead last according to the analytical PFF coverage grade versus seam routes this year. So they are by far the worst at covering anything going down the seam, which is where the Cowboys been loving the attacking vertically down the field with Dak. And this is where the linebacker is going to be sitting and waiting a lot of the times. Dak Prescott has been one of the best at doing this, attacking opposing teams down the seam this year. So to me, it's all about Jake Ferguson, and that's going to loosen up the ability for the big play attack that we're going to be able to bring against the secondary. Which, again, it starts with Jake Ferguson to get that going more than the run game. Run game is going to be good to get the yardage we need to keep drives going, but they're not going to be able to stop the run, hopefully. But it's when we throw that ball, you want to get the ball to your big receivers later on, you open it up with Ferguson down the seams, you open it up attacking their linebackers. So when you look at, again, as I think we missed earlier about Stephen Jones and what he said about McCarthy, but we're going to get that at the end of this. I do want to say that one of the best ways, I guess you can say, to describe the Green Bay Packers secondary, and one of them is right there in Jair Alexander, is they're not that bad. Like, that's the best you can say about them. They're not that bad. Pretty much, guys, every opposing team against Green Bay's defense, teams find the most success running against the Packer defense. So the Packer defense doesn't get a lot of passes thrown against them. The problem is for the Packers is when teams do throw against their defensive backs, their secondary has issues. They're not good at stopping the pass, even if they don't get passed on that much. Jair Alexander, by far, is their best corner. But again, he missed half the season with injuries. He only started playing recently. And the last couple of weeks, guys, he's been playing well, but he served the 1-game suspension for the coin toss situation when he ran on the field and called the coin toss. Wasn't even supposed to be out there, but he did it because he assumed because he's from Detroit. So I don't know. The point is, no other player again, you look at their line at their corners. Alexander is the right corner, but he'll go back and forth wherever CeeDee Lamb is. They got a rookie, Carrington Valentine, over there, number 37. They got their nickel cornerback, Keyshawn Nixon, number 25. They got Corey Ballantyne in the mix there. They got Robert Rochelle. And I'm saying they don't have many guys in there that are very good at covering outside of number 23, Jair Alexander. So no other starting cornerback on their team. I'm sorry, the other cornerback starting on their team is Keyshawn Nixon, and he's allowing an 82% completion rate against them. That means if you throw at him, 8 out of 10 passes are going to be caught. Over 8 out of 10 are going to be caught. And when you throw against them, your passer rating is going to be about 103.8 for your quarterback. So you want to attack Keyshawn Nixon. He plays a lot of nickel cornerback. And he's at number 25. You see 88 out of 25, you attack number 25, Keyshawn Nixon. You look at their rookie cornerback on the other side, Carrington Valentine. He's actually been a little bit better in coverage, but he's still allowing a passer rating of 84.2, which is about 20 points better than Keyshawn Nixon. But the problem with him, guys, is that he misses a lot of fucking tackles. All the defensive backs for Green Bay miss tackles. So they have very high rates of missed tackles this year, and they're allowing the 8th most yards per pass in the league and the 6th highest passer rating allowed this year. So Dak and the passing game should have a field day against this, in my opinion, very weak secondary, especially with Jair Alexander now hurt with the rolled ankle. That's even if he plays, they're going to be in bad shape, guys. When you look at their secondary, they have the second fewest interceptions in the NFL with 7. DaRon Bland has more interceptions by himself than the entire Packer team. They've also allowed a completion rate as a team of 65%, which lands right average. It lands right in the middle of the rankings at this analytic. So for a defense here, right, for a defensive passing defense that has so few passes against them, they have really struggled in most of the coverage statistics in the NFL, right? They are still one of the worst, even though they don't get attacked that much. Now, when you look at, like I said, DaRon Bland himself has 9 interceptions. That's 2 more than the entire Packer team combined. Now, I also want to bring up another preview for a key matchup coming up, and I know CeeDee Lamb spoke. I think he's the last guy that spoke today, right?
He is.
So when you look at the Packers, baby, here's the thing with the matchup, and we're going to talk about it tomorrow in more detail. The Packer defense has allowed the worst passer rating and yards per attempt in the NFL when you go up against slant routes, which, guys, I'm just telling you, the Cowboys are going to be able to run slants on the Packers and get those yards after catch all day long. They're the worst yards per attempt on slants, the Packers. They're the worst EPA per play. They're the worst QBR to the middle of the field. Any quarterback that attacks the middle of the field, that quarterback has the best ratings at the QBR, the QBR analytic. Guys, if the Packers do not, they could pressure him, but if they have to blitz them, I don't know what the guy. If they blitz him, they're dead. If they got to pressure him with the 3 guys or the 4 guys they're going to be blitzing with, or 5 at most. If they do not pressure Dak Prescott, the game's going to be a blowout. At least offensively, we should be running the ball. We should be passing the ball. If Dak is getting clean pockets, and we know he'll get the ball out about what a third or a fifth of a second faster than they usually get to the quarterback to pressure him, not to sack him, to pressure him. Listen, number 23, he's really good. All right, Jair Alexander, he has a rolled ankle. How do you think that's going to affect him?
I mean, obviously, not great.
He's going to have issues right there covering CeeDee Lamb. Listen to this. Jair Alexander is good, but CeeDee Lamb is better. And this is before the ankle issue, guys. Look at the coverage grade since 2019. Jair Alexander has a 90.1. That's the highest in that time frame. Very good.
Damn.
He also has the third worst coverage grade of the season against the Cowboys in his career there. I'm sorry, of the season last year, which was the Cowboys. That was week 10. His coverage grade, 59.7. That's mainly against CeeDee Lamb getting rocked by CeeDee Lamb. Now, versus the Cowboys, that week 10 game, last year we lost, but how did Jair Alexander do against CeeDee Lamb? He was targeted 12 times while in coverage. That was the most he was targeted the entire season. He gave up 8 catches. That's the most Jair gave up all year.
Damn.
Last year. He gave up 83 yards against them. That's the second most of last year. He gave up a touchdown. Alexander only gave up 2 touchdowns in coverage last season. CeeDee Lamb lined up outside. So, again, let me reiterate. When CeeDee Lamb is in the slot against Keyshawn Nixon, who, by the way, he allows 82% of the time coverage completions against them. Mm-hmm. But when CeeDee Lamb is on the outside, Jair Alexander will be covering him. Keep that in mind. Not inside, not in the slot. He'll be covered by the nickel corner. On the outside, he'll be covered by Jair Alexander, number 23. And here's the key. When CeeDee Lamb lined out on the outside and Jair Alexander covered him, he had 20 snaps. And all 20 snaps, Jair Alexander was on him. This was the last game. Expect the same thing in this game. And how did he do? How did CeeDee Lamb do against him in week 10 last year?
How did he do?
16. He had 15 targets for CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee caught 11 of those. He had 11 catches against Jair Alexander for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think that was his best game until this year. And it was against Jair Alexander. Think about that.
So you could say that Micah Parsons seems to have
Micah
his
Parsons?
number.
Who's Micah?
CeeDee seems to have his number.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where
Sorry, no, I was reading a comment in the chat about Micah.
Yeah, well, we're talking about CeeDee here. So, CeeDee Lamb, at least in the most recent game in Green Bay, dominated Jair Alexander. Let's just be honest. Will he do it again? We'll have to wait and see. Jair Alexander now rolled his ankle.
I mean,
so he's going to have issues there.
I expect it to dominate even more. Just throwing that out there because CeeDee is having obviously the best year yet. So, I mean, I don't know.
And Jair's has a rolled ankle. I mean, that's not, even if he plays, it's not going to be good for them.
It's going to be on a limited basis.
Finalizing this thing, baby, before we go on, the last comment from Stephen Jones today was important about Mike McCarthy. But CeeDee Lamb caught all 13 of his targets against Washington last week for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. The odds of a receiver catching all 13 passes based on completion probability of each of these passes specifically for CeeDee Lamb was 1.5%. There was a 1.5% that CeeDee Lamb was going to make all 13 catches in this game against Washington. CeeDee Lamb leads the NFL in receptions over expectation this year. 18.6 plus 18.6. That's the fourth most of any receiver in a season ever since 2018. So, dominating performance by CeeDee Lamb. Most games in a single season, most games with 11 or more catches in a single season in NFL history, CeeDee Lamb has the most in NFL history.
Damn.
7.
He's setting some kind of record.
He has 7 this year. Michael Thomas in 2019 had 6. Marvin Harrison and Michael Thomas had 5 each. Harrison in 2002, Thomas in 2018. Just saying. You go to 10 catches is one thing. You get to 11 catches, CeeDee Lamb is the master of that. In a single season, most in NFL history, 11 catches or more in a season. So, damn, guys, CeeDee Lamb is doing the thing out there, and he is dominating the thing. So, I mean, any quick comments in the chat about, our offense versus their defense in any
now,
kind of way.
Jeff Coughlin said Love has 32 touchdowns. That's nothing to sneeze at.
No, I agree. We talked about that yesterday, but yeah, I mean, he's come on of late. We got the way to get him, pressure him, sack him, and of course, stop number 33, Aaron Jones. We're talking about defense now. Their defense against our offense.
Yeah, the Voodoo Alpha, a.k.a. Alexander Moreno, said if the starting O-line can play with that same attitude as base, this O-line could be deadly.
I agree. It can be deadly, and it can be deadly. Again, this is a tough defensive front, but if we run at the right times, and it's on McCarthy here, we run at the right times, and we have the right game plan, which is, again, that's going to be great. But if the offensive line can't just hold off this Green Bay Packer defensive line, which they should most of the game, it should not be a consistent, we're in trouble by their pass rush. We should be, once in a while, we might get a little bit of issue. Dak maybe get out of it sometimes. Maybe Dak takes a sack. I don't know. My point is, our offensive line, if they block, we win. Plain and simple. If they block the right way, we win. Running, passing, we win. That's it.
Jeff Coughlin said, we don't run the ball all that well, but this is the game that you need to let Pollard eat.
I think we don't run well. I've said this before in yesterday's show. We run a lot more. We've run a lot more in recent weeks, and Pollard has been really one of the better running backs in the last 3 weeks. So I think that's trending the right way. I don't think it's a problem that we have as much. I think at the beginning of the year we had more of a problem running the ball. We've gotten better with that. I think the bigger thing is that I think Pollard is playing more comfortably on that injured leg, right, that he had. I think we saw that getting better throughout the year. But to me, it's more about when we run, we are being more effective now, even if we don't run that much. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
We still run, and we just run a little better than we did in the beginning of the year. We do run better than we did, but we just don't run that much. We should run more in this game.
So, by the way, Scorpio cracked him up. He said, best way to beat Love is to use hate.
This defense is going to show some hate against Love.
So
it's like do the right thing in Radio Raheem.
Anyway, that's most of the comments here, specifically on what we're discussing.
Well, that when it comes to this game, we've broken it down. We talked about the defense tonight, of their defense versus our Texas Coast. Yesterday, we talked about our offense against their defense. I'm sorry, their offense against our defense. So we talked about it all here on My Cowboys Family. Tomorrow, we're going to break down some of the matchups. So we got a must-win matchups and a pregame preview on Saturday. So get ready for that. But I do want to end this with a very important kind of last kind of late night comment bump from Stephen Jones. And it's about head coach Mike McCarthy. Now, Stephen Jones was on late tonight on San Antonio Sports Stars The Blitz and was asked if he believes that Mike McCarthy, is, despite all the success that he has with this team, is he overly criticized because he is mainly specifically representing America's team? He's the head coach of the Cowboys. Is this why he's getting more maybe over criticism? So what does Stephen Jones say about Mike McCarthy when it comes to the maybe quote unquote over criticism of head coach of the Cowboys?
He said, I had a similar conversation earlier today with a reporter. Whether you're the quarterback of the Cowboys, head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, whether you're the owner, whatever your high profile role is, you're going to be in the crosshairs. Dak has done a great job of handling that. I think Coach McCarthy does an amazing job, as you said. He's had great success, 3 12-5 seasons. Now, certainly, we want to take the next steps in terms of our success in the playoffs.
That means win in the playoffs.
And, of course, Jerry's been doing this for over 30 years. I've been doing it for over 30 years. It comes with certainly a magnifying glass in terms of people wanting to evaluate the job that you're doing, but that's part of it. That's fair. If you want to have success in this league, you've got to be able to certainly. That comes with the territory. All our guys do a great job of handling that.
Just giving props there to McCarthy the way he handles it. But, any thoughts on that, baby, on your part?
I mean, again, we always kind of knew it, so he's not really saying anything new. If anything, it sounds like he's trying to almost get, sympathy for himself. Right? Oh my goodness, we have to deal with so much shit and we work so hard.
Only because we're wearing the star in our helmet.
And all this stuff. I don't know. That's at first it kind of it started off okay, and then it kind of just
turned south.
I don't know. That's where I ended up there on that one a bit. So anyway, sorry, I had to throw that out there, baby. Back to you. I think that's
it. That's a wrap, baby, tonight for us here on MCF. Calling it a night. Tomorrow we're back to the matchups. And hey, listen, time's running low for everyone it looks like everyone's kind of done with the raffle entries here. But hey, we're gonna shout out. I see the lunatic in and out of the mix here, so we're gonna do it again here, baby. As we wrap it up, let me make sure I shout out the lunatic one more big ass time, because the last week and a half so far, we're finishing up the last couple of days here as we're hitting the weekend. Fan Friday coming soon. Tomorrow is the breakdown day. Tomorrow is the breakdown day of the matchups. We're gonna have the pregame preview. That's it. 2 days left to get into this raffle from the lunatic. It's gonna be 4 jerseys, guys, and we're gonna have 4 winners. 1 jersey for each winner. These sewn and stitched jerseys. We got every team available, every major sport available per Cowboy Mosh. But hey, it's about the Cowboy jersey, the navy blue, silver, and star representation. Old school legends, Roger, Tony, Randy White, whoever. Old school wise, Aikman Irvin, Emmitt Smith. You got some of the Jason Wittens and the Des Bryants and the Sean Lees and all them guys. But also, you got some of the new guys here as well. Mostly stars, but we got a lot of different guys, about 30 or 40 different players, a whole bunch of different styles, sizes, 4 jerseys, 4 lucky winners, guys, 1 apiece, and it's going to be 4 different winners winning a jersey apiece. I cannot wait to see who's going to win it. How do they get in this thing, baby? It's going to be at halftime of this wild card Sunday battle against the Cheesehead Packers. Halftime of this game, we're going to pick 4 winners, and each of them will get one of these jerseys. How do they get in this thing, and how can they stack entries?
Bam. You drop $10, you're automatically entered, and it is cumulative, right? So every additional $10 is an additional bonus entry into the raffle. And, of course, membership has its perks. If you're an MCF member, you do get a bonus entry once you're in the raffle automatically. So congrats to the 4 lucky winners, and that is 4 individual different winners that will be winning these awesome prizes. Thank you again to Lunatic for making it happen there.
Huge shout out to the Lunatic for making this happen here on this biggest game since 1996, I guess. It's the Super Bowl 96 right now for the Cowboys. Is happening Sunday afternoon into the evening. Cannot wait for this big battle going down here. So let's see what happens, guys, as we turn the page. Oh, speaking of big battles, we got Big D in the place to be.
That's right, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe he officially takes over as the stream boss with his $10 holler, adding another entry into that raffle saying "Go Cowboys" and F the Packers. Fuck the Packers.
Yeah, not only does he get into another raffle, baby, but he jumps into 5th place on this overall board. He's in the top 5 now, leading the way here, and he gets another jersey raffle right there. Another entry for a raffle. By the way, like I said, add another raffle entry, but he's 5 away. Not 10. He's 5 away from another raffle entry if he wanted that.
Oh, there you go.
Big D, like you said, he's got that stream boss. As we were about to announce all the different leaders and stuff here before we do the shout outs, I did want to say, I think we said this, right? $10 per entry.
Yeah.
You get in there, like Big D just did, as an example. He gets another entry right there, and he's 5 away from another one. So, because he's halfway into that one. So, again, much love to Big D. He's unlimited entries, so you can stack as many as you want. And if you're in the membership, and Big D is in the membership, well, you already hit the $10 mark. Guess what that means? Bonus entry as well. So if he's got 5, he's got 6 raffle entries now. Upping a chance to win one of these 4 great jerseys. Yeah, can't wait to see who the winners are. Can't wait to see our team beat the Packers. And again, extra special love for the support and the representation here from the greatest here, the Lunatic, the Godfather of the membership of the channel of the Cowboy family. So thank you, the Lunatic, once again for making it happen, and thank you, Big D, jumping in this thing here and getting into the raffle coming on at halftime of the Green Bay game. So, I was going to shout out a couple of the people. Well, how about this? I'll shout the people up in a minute. But first, let me shout out the people that are representing our boards. What do you say?
Of course.
Sponsor of the week, the great Jason Renfro.
Thank you, Jason, of course. Much love to you, back to back, like our 90s Cowboys. Although he did have to hand off his membership gifting crown to JD from DC. Thank you so much.
Repping an enemy territory, came through big last week against Washington in DC. So much love to JD from DC. And then, of course, Big D, who just took it, from Mr. Dwayne Broussard, the stream boss. He is now the newly representation there on that board as we're getting closer. We're going to get into that weekend. We're getting closer to the big game. And, baby, you know why he's here. For 3 weeks in a row as our Cash App King.
Snug X.
Yeah, you know it. So appreciate all you guys repping the boards this week. But, baby, we're going to have new leaders and maybe new winners when it comes to things. Because right now, Skeptical Fan has 6 gifted memberships on the gifting membership board with Jason Renfro with 3. That battle continues. Right now it's a field goal separating those two guys for that top spot. Which JD, of course, has the crown. And if you look at the other side of things, of course, Big D has 100 points. He's fully loaded. But what about the Cash App side and the overall board side? Well, the same person is repping that on both ends. It's the great Marissa Sparkle, part of the Star Level membership. She is currently the Cash App leader, trying to be the Cash App queen. She's the leader there and the leader on the overall board. Although, like I said, guys like Calvin Richard and Big D, Jason Renfro, Skeptical, and others are getting smoky. They're all up there, very close to the top spot to Marissa Sparkle. So anyways, baby, I'll stop there. I want to make sure we give all the shout-outs to everybody as they deservedly need that and get. And before I shout out those that dropped the love tonight specifically, shout out to people in the chat as we get out of here for tonight.
Of course, we have Big D, Jeff Coughlin, Tommy Montoya, even you, Eagle Evans, Scorpio.
Always an Eagle fan hiding around.
Right?
On Cowboy channels.
Jesus Saves. We have 808 Cowboy. Alexander Moreno, of course. Metal Bird Cowboy fan. Tokyo. The Lunatic.
Yeah.
Dirty South MVP. Just trying to make sure I don't miss anybody. David Caballero. Mike Aldana. Bobby Garrett, James Brady, Fuego, bringing the heat.
Fire.
Oh. So, yeah, that's as far back as it lets me go, at least on my side. Kenzie Bands, thanks for saying hello and hi.
Yes.
But guys.
Hey, thank you guys for all that. And also, great discussions tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Leave your comments below if you're watching this on the replay. And let me give a replay of everybody who dropped the love from above tonight. Like Navy Blue member, Captain DCW, jump back in the Navy Blue. Freedom First getting in the raffle with the Streamlab drop. We got Jason Renfro with a little Cash App love, a little Cash App and Super Chat love in here. Calvin Richard making a run at the thing here, adding some membership raffles to him. So is Randy Stites in the membership, adding a couple of them of these entries for himself. And then Big D with the big drops, definitely getting in the mix here and upping his chances and upping himself on the top 5 board here on My Cowboys Family for the leaderboard. Weekly sponsor leaderboard for the week. So appreciate all of you guys for the love and support on that side, baby. It's time to tell them why we do this thing here at MCF right here on this channel every single night, especially during the season, but every single night during the year for the last 6.5+ years. Why do we do this on My Cowboys Family every single night, baby?
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. We got 5 who want that 6 and beyond. And it's always about that star over everything. Guys, here on My Cowboys Family for 6.5 years and beyond, never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys. Let's get that 6 and beyond. Woo. Thank you all for dropping the knowledge in the chat all night long.
SD420, thank you. Appreciate
that.
Yes,
SD in the house. Thank you all for dropping your knowledge in the chat all night long. We need the back and forth to discuss our Cowboys and what we need to do for this week. We appreciate your thoughts on our team. Of course, humbled by your drops of love from above. Can't do what we do without that kind of support as well. And finally, baby, as we get ready to clock out, drop out of here on this channel here for tonight and for the night, and relock and reload in tomorrow. I got some real good matchups to work into tomorrow, guys. Already been building on this the whole week, so we're going to expand this. Maybe 4, 5, 6 different keys, maybe more, of what we got to do to win this game against Green Bay to secure a win against this Packer team and continue in the elimination round of the season right now in the playoffs. So let's focus, not look ahead. Let's focus on this game. And I think I got some keys that are going to be very important and must-wins for victory on Sunday. So we'll talk about that and more tomorrow. Guys, before we can officially drop out of here for the night, wife, baby, before we drop out, what do we got to do? Tell them.
we gotta drop the beat.
The beat has been dropped. Thank you all for rocking with us here on the Nightly for tonight. And all the love and support, of course, we appreciate it as well, guys. Have a good one. And hey, thank you for another wrap-up here on some news, info, and updates here in MCF as we do and finish up and wrap up another Cowboys chat. That's what we do here, guys. Thank you for a little this, a little that you guys bring to the channel. Got to do it with the family. We talked about it, though, mainly about our offense versus their defense. And all the good, bad, and uglies connected to that. We got shots. We got chances. We're going to bring it this Sunday on offense for sure. Here in MCF, we always bring it, guys. About that navy blue, that silver too, that star over everything. Never, ever forget the number one thing right here of my Cowboys family. Much love to everyone in the house. Make sure you don't forget to hit the like button for this stream. Make sure you sub up and subscribe to the channel. Keep it growing. Almost at 30K. About 800 away from 30K here on My Cowboys Family. So make sure you subscribe. Hit the notification bell to all videos. Set it up that way so you know we're going live. Another way of knowing it, jump in that Discord. Follow us on X, Twitter, at My Cowboys Family. And all the other information is in the description below. If you want to get in the raffle, you can still do it when we're not live. A lot of different ways. We'll shout you out and put you down as soon as we get that info. Guys, thank you again. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow, Fan Friday style for the matchups. Peace out. Have a good one. Stay safe and never, ever dare forget. Go Cowboys!
Monk on the